Welcome to This Week in College Hockey. We're back in the studio, sort of. Ryan and I are here. Sydney in St. Cloud and Jess in Weston, Florida, somewhere between a game between the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. How are you doing today, Jess?
I'm doing good. I drove across pretty much the entire state of Florida today. Well, no, I can't say that. I drove from Tampa to Miami. There's a hell of a Florida out there when you go north of Tampa, but it's a flat state. A lot of agriculture. A lot of stuff you don't see when you're just by the beach. So,
Correct.
hey,
Are you
I'm
wearing
doing
a
well.
Hockey Town USA shirt there?
I happen to be wearing a Hockey Town USA shirt.
Okay,
yes.
just want to make
I was
sure.
curious how many questions you get about that, just when you kind of wear that outside
You
of the
know,
state of
no
Minnesota.
lie. I got in the elevator here at my hotel. I'm just at a suburban, Marriott kind of hotel. Guy looks at my shirt. He says, Hockey Town USA. He says, my son plays for the Sioux City Musketeers. He's going to go to Northeastern next year in
Wow.
Western Florida. Who would have thought?
That's
Wow.
cool.
Interesting.
I said, well, I hope he enjoys being nomadic because they don't have a rink. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if they told him that in the recruiting pitch, but anyway.
They broke ground 3 years ago, just like they did at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
Like
For
the women's
somebody
program.
told me Ohio State broke ground 3 years ago. Yeah, maybe on a new parking lot, but certainly not on a new hockey.
Right. All right. A lot has happened in college hockey in the last 5 days. We have a tournament, an NCAA tournament to talk about. We have 2 coaching changes at the University of Minnesota to talk about. We have maybe some picks here too. Who's going where? We could probably drum up some hate for the NCAA selection process if we wanted to. My only hate is that Ben Liss from our staff over at the press conference goes, I guess we're not going to Sioux Falls, are we? I'm like, probably not. And he goes, there's only 5 Minnesotans playing in Sioux Falls.
Ouch.
Wow.
I'm like, nope, that means we're not going.
Ouch.
The more Minnesotans, the more press. The less Minnesotans, less press for us.
Have you guys seen all of the flack Sioux Falls is getting right now on the national stage? for
Why?
Holding
What
a
is that?
regional? Well, I mean, all the guys on the East Coast have never left the East Coast.
So they don't think it's cool?
Yeah, they're just, a lot of people are complaining that these first rounds should be held at the higher seeds. Rate,
Oh,
rather
sure. That's a platform in itself to talk about.
I was in Sioux Falls two years ago. There was a regional there.
BU Gophers.
Omaha, BU Omaha, Minnesota, and I think RIT was the 4th team. Kid
Yeah.
named Celebrini. I don't know whatever happened to him, but he was pretty good for BU in that regional. One of the recurring jokes for all these, BU friends of mine who had never been to the state of South Dakota before was in the off day we were just going to head over to Mount Rushmore. We're just going to go see the big go see the big heads there. Not realizing obviously that it's like
It's
6 hours from Sioux
At
Falls.
least,
Not
yeah.
close. You
Yeah.
can maybe stop by the Corn Palace.
The
Halfway.
Corn Palace is a drive. That's for sure.
That's you
That
can
is
maybe
not-
make it up to that.
Mount Rushmore is worth the drive. Corn Palace is not.
agreed.
My friends Bernie Corbett, who's the longtime radio voice at BU, and Brian Kelly, who's in their athletic communications office, 2 great friends of mine. We're in Sioux Falls. They had never been to the state of Iowa before. And it's only like 15 miles from Sioux Falls
Yeah.
to the Iowa line. So I found the closest little town that had a bar and grill, and I drove them to Iowa, and we had lunch there. So that was a big moment for my friend.
And
And I
picked
said,
up a lot of
next time
states.
next time I'm in New England, I need them to take me to Connecticut because I've never been there. So.
How about Providence? How about Rhode Island? Have you been there before?
I've been to 2 Frozen Fours in Providence. It's a
I shouldn't have never
fantastic town.
opened. I should have never asked.
And that was an earlier era back when the Providence Civic Center, or now I don't know what it's called. It's
Yeah.
changed names several times since then. But about 11,000 seats. At one point, that was a Frozen Four site before they went pretty much exclusively to NHL size arenas. And great atmosphere there. I saw North Dakota play Boston College in the title game. Place was packed. 90% BC fans, and then North Dakota, of course, wins it.
Was that the
And
pulled
craps
goalie
on the
year?
parade.
Is that the pulled goalie game or
No,
96?
the pulled goalie game was the next year in Albany, same 2 teams. And
Yeah,
again,
okay.
Albany, Albany was a Frozen Four site at one point. Now it's a regional site, so it just shows how the events.
And why is there a regional in Albany, New York? Can someone answer me that?
Not a bad rink, 11, 12,000 seats.
It's never full though.
I will say
Yeah.
4 years ago now, 22. Gophers are in Worcester.
Yep. That
They win their-
I get Worcester's fine.
They win their first game, so then they have that weird off day. So you got nothing to do, and I'm in Worcester, Massachusetts. Well, I notice it's a 2-hour drive to Albany, and Mankato is playing Notre Dame in the regional final.
You did
So
it?
I've got a car. What the heck? I called a friend with the NCAA. Hey, put me on the credential list. No problem. I get there for Notre Dame versus Mankato in Albany.
That's nice work.
And it's you, me, and invited guests only. Honest to God, it was the
Exactly.
smallest
I've
crowd
never
ever
see
seen
that
for a
place
regional.
full.
Yeah, that was tough. That was
I
too
mean-
bad.
Worcester, Providence would be great regional sites because of all of the Boston area, New Hampshire teams that are within 2 to 3 hours driving distance. Albany doesn't make any sense at all to me. It never has. And I get Loveland. I get that.
You've got Union close by. You've got Cornell. You've got
I
you've got some
suppose.
New York teams within a decent proximity.
Right.
And it's a good rink. It's right downtown. There's easy parking, all of that. Albany's a weird town though,
I've been there.
because it's the seat of government for the state of New
Yep.
York. But here's the problem: Friday at about 5 o'clock, the town shuts down because
Empty.
everybody who works in state government goes back to New York City for the
Yep.
weekend.
Yep,
Yeah.
they do. Yeah, they do.
weird. Anyway,
We
we're off topic.
We
as
are
usual.
totally off topic.
That's fine.
Where do you want to start? There's so much to talk about, Sydney.
Yeah, there is. And I know Jess is on a time crunch, so we wanted to talk about the Minnesota stuff first, since obviously we recorded the emergency pod last week. So kind of just to follow up on that before we get into all the regionals and stuff. So obviously I know, Jess, you've been, writing stuff about it and covering it. And Tony, you went to the press conference yesterday. So obviously we got a lot of stuff, because last week on the emergency pod, we all thought it was going to be Garrett Raboin and that he would be the clear number one. And the next day, I think it was in the
next day.
morning, we see the tweet of him and the AD. It's not an official extension that we've seen, but just a picture basically like thumbs up saying we've got our guy. So we're all like, well, I guess that
I was
means
speechless.
he's out. And Trent Singer wrote a good story, so go read that if you haven't, where he didn't confirm or deny he was officially offered the job, but it sounds like obviously he was thinking about it and decided to stay in Sioux Falls. So he didn't confirm anything officially, but it sounds like obviously there were absolutely conversations had there and he made the choice to stay. So that's what we thought on the emergency pod last week. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, I guess now it's Grant Patolny or Brett Larson. So
And
that's,
no one was surprised by either of those.
we weren't
very
really
suitable
surprised by
candidates.
either of those, but I feel like the fan base was kind of just like just some people. I wouldn't say there wasn't like a ton crazy either way. I feel like a lot of the fan base was just kind of like, oh, like it just wasn't.
Technically, they did a nationwide search. I have to
They said
call.
they
I have
did
to
a
call.
nationwide
I have to
search.
call Jess a liar because I was called a liar this week as well. Jess lied. He circled Stearns County and the Twin Cities, made this tiny little dot on America.
Yeah.
He left off Hartford, Connecticut, where Grant Patolny is. So technically, it was a nationwide search.
Well,
for a coach.
that was a tweet that I retweeted from somebody
Oh,
else.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those were the results of the search. Let's put it that
I'm
way.
kidding. I'm totally kidding.
The more I've gotten to know Jess, the better it is just looking at his Twitter feed, because you kind of understand how he approaches some people when they.
Oh yeah,
It's fun to watch.
yeah. Some of his tweets, some of those. That was
I'm
a
here
good
for
one.
I'm here for entertainment purposes.
He keeps it professional, but if you can read between the lines a little bit, a few times, it's
There's some snark.
no.
Yeah,
There's some humor.
yeah. There's some snark.
There's some humor.
Yeah. I like
the,
it.
the nationwide search for the Gopher women's coach made it one office over from Brad Frost's office.
Yep.
So what, about 10 yards, maybe? I don't know. how the
Possibly
offices are
less.
set up there.
A chunked
And then
wedge.
the nationwide search for the men's coach made it all the way to Stearns County again.
Again.
Yeah. I
A
mean,
recurring theme.
when those two candidates kind of were announced as the top two, it kind of everybody sort of seemed like, okay, well, it's got to be Brett then, because a lot of people, obviously, Grant's got the alumni connections and stuff, so he's a big name, just obviously in Gopher realms. But I don't really feel like I saw anybody say that he was kind of leading the race of people's perceptions over Brett. So we kind of all assumed that. But then we kind of thought early in the week they'd be maybe delaying it and talking to some other people. There were rumors that Pat Ferschweiler might be interested, but obviously he'd be really expensive. You'd have to buy him out, so that'd be a huge hurdle. And then it
confirm
sounds like maybe they
Let me
talked to
confirm those rumors right now.
Yeah.
Let me confirm those rumors.
You
Pat
can-
Ferschweiler was interested.
Yeah, and also I heard too
I think
that
someone else on
possibly-
this pod could confirm that he was interested too. But
Yeah.
do we have to go there?
So it's not really even a rumor.
And
But
could we
obviously
all
he would've
could
been
also
extremely
confirm that
expensive.
John Buccigross could confirm that Pat Ferschweiler was interested?
Can
Yeah, because he just signed an extension, so to buy him out, it would have been, what was it, like almost $2 million or something?
okay.
I heard firsthand it was 1.6, but the media is
1.6.
also reporting at 1.9.
Is it safe
Okay.
to
Are
say
you the
money?
media?
Is it
Are
safe
you
to
the media?
I think I
So-
am. I might be.
is it safe to say that money was
I know money was the
That's-
reason.
okay?
That's-
I'm not
that's like
safe
me.
to say money was the reason.
Tony, that's like me saying I read in the St. Paul Pioneer Press.
It was a great article.
That Pat Ferschweiler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I
Yes,
know money.
I
money
concur.
had to
I
be the
think-
reason.
I think money was the biggest reason.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Now-
mean,
If Brett
I
Larson
agree.
would have said no, is that who's your next call? That's what I wonder.
well, I heard too, some people said, Steve Rollick maybe was sort of in, like, he wasn't really the number one, but he was, kind of, obviously, I'm sure he probably would have been maybe kicking the tires a little bit as well.
He was the third candidate. I've
So it
confirmed that
doesn't
with
really
two
seem like he
separate
was ever-
entities.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he was really a front runner ever, but it sounds like his name was being floated around too. I don't know if there
He
were
would
any other
check
mystery
boxes.
candidates.
He would check the Minnesota native box. He would check the Big Ten box. He would check
Yeah.
the proven winner box. He checks that box. But the one box he
they're-
checks is that he was a Badger. And I tell you what, there's a big difference between the Bulldogs and the Badgers as far as,
Yeah.
I mean, the Bulldogs respect the Gophers. The Gophers respect the Bulldogs. I think there's a hate from Wisconsin fans and Wisconsin players, and that was my take on Rollick, is that can he get that out of his system and come here and coach?
Yeah, and
Have you heard of a guy named Badger Bob Johnson? You heard of him?
Yes.
You remember that name?
Yes.
Badger Bob. Let me just say that was his nickname, Badger.
Yeah.
He played for the University of Minnesota. Get over it.
Yes. Yes.
Get past it.
Yeah.
Granted, it was the 50s, but
Right.
we were all
So-
crazy back then.
kind of just to recap, all weekend it was, Brett or Grant Bertolini, and it seemed like Brett was the front runner. They were going to have a press conference after the women's thing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. to
I was
answer
there.
Some, I guess, kind of questions. But then we thought, okay, maybe they're actually thinking about Ferschweiler. But then all of a sudden it was like, okay, I guess there's going to be a press conference Tuesday. It's Brett. So whatever happened, it sounded like it was a no, and they were just. Maybe Mark Coyle just was like, I love Brett. Let's bring him on board right now, immediately. So, Tony, do you want to talk about the presser and kind of all the things you
So
saw?
let's start
and all that?
let's start the Boom May. The Boom May one happens. We could talk about that a little bit later.
Sure.
But at the end of the Boom May, they open up questions about the men's job, and they're
Yeah.
say what you want about Mark Coyle, but he kind of comes off as your standard AI athletic director. You're only you ask a question,
He's very
he looks into
polished.
AI and he gets his answer and sends it back out.
He's very
All
polished.
calculated, all polished. We got it was a nothing burger for 30 minutes there. However, someone typed into the AI this really clever statement. It's like, money isn't the most important part of college athletics. It's right up there with oxygen. Right? But basically, there were a lot of questions about money in that press conference. Mike Max asked him, hey, do you look at, the cost of a high-end football player at $700,000 the same way you look at the same dollars that you're going to pay for a hockey coach? And he goes, Maxie, are you listening in on our office? Because, yes, we are always talking about money. So this whole Ferschweiler thing was about money. And he basically he didn't admit that he admitted it, but he admitted it right there that money was a big issue. And I'm not saying they got Brett on the cheap, and I'm not saying that's the reason they took Brett, because I thought they got a great coach in Brett. But the fact that they did not even consider a national championship coach who was born in Minnesota seems a little irresponsible to me.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. And do you want to talk a little bit about the actual introductory conference for Brett and everything, or maybe any sights and sounds from yesterday?
Well, the first sight and sound is I'm sitting in the room, and I look to my left, and there's Mike Russo, the beat writer for the Minnesota Wild, and I'm getting texts from the Gopher.
There's actually, just so you know, there's actually more than one beat writer for the Minnesota Wild.
I'm gonna get to that. Quit interrupting. Then I have
he's the only one.
the beat writer for the Minnesota Wild, who's
writer.
not there, but has covered this beloved program forever. And it was just the weirdest thing. Like, why is this beat writer here and not the main? I would say your mainstream media beat writer of all time for the Gophers the last 10 years has been you, and you weren't there. That's all. It just was a little weird.
That was odd. And knowing that Mike, started his NHL career in Florida. I'm in Florida covering the NHL.
Correct.
He's at the U covering Gopher hockey.
I'm like, he should be in Florida. That's where he's from.
Yep, absolutely. And
But-
Mike did a nice job with that. And John Shipley was there for our paper. I thought he did a nice job as well. So hey, congrats, Brett Larson. I think he's going to be great. I really do.
I do too.
The last couple of years at St. Cloud have been mediocre. Sydney, we've talked about that a lot. I also want to say this. I mentioned this in my story. First coach in Gopher hockey history, maybe in college hockey history, that played for the Minnesota Arctic Blast of Roller Hockey International at Target Center, summer of about 1993-94.
Target Center.
I remember watching Brett Larson play defense on wheels, literally. For the
That's
Minnesota
a
Arctic
hot
Blast.
take.
What?
That's
Yeah.
That is a hot
Were you there as a
take.
fan?
Talk about a guy
Were you
who's-
covering it?
I'll never
who's
forget.
seen
We had
who's seen it done it all.
we had a couple shower the summer I got married in '96, and I remember being at Champs in downtown Minneapolis, and there was an Arctic Blast game that day. And again, not a lot of fans, probably 500 to 1,000 fans, but a few spill over into the Champs afterwards, and Frank Mazzacco must have been going to the game or was at the game or doing some kind of broadcast, and he ends up sitting right next to me, and it's my couple shower, okay? I have had a few, and we got into it about Gopher hockey and Gopher everything, and it was a lot of fun. Frank was great. It wasn't bad, but I was a little bit more free to go up to a complete stranger at that time than I probably would have had if it weren't for the alcohol talking. Quick synopsis of the presser. I get off the elevator, and Goldie Gopher is sitting there, and it looks like a statue. And I'm walking by this statue of Goldie Gopher, and he pops out at me, and it scared the living you-know-what out of me. And I was with Brody Zemer and all the Gopher players, and they got a good laugh out of that. I'm like, yeah, glad it was me. Then we get into the presser, and everybody is there. Channel 9, Channel 4, Channel 5, Russo, Shipley, they're all there. It was a much bigger room than the Boom May one. A lot more press there. All the players were there. All the current coaching staff was there. Nico Medved was there. It was a packed house it was a who's who room.
Was Bob Motzko there?
Bob Motzko was not there.
Okay.
He was not there.
I'll make a point about that later, but
and
we'll just file that away.
It was a very good press conference. Brett, I believe I would give him a 10 out of 10 for his delivery. I thought he did a nice job to win the press conference, did a great job answering questions. He provided me enough to go off that this is a man that will lead this team back to the promised land very quickly.
I'll say this, because I asked about Bob Motzko for this reason. 8 years ago, I was in the room for the same press conference where they introduced Bob Motzko. And I have a great picture of Doug Wu, God rest his soul, Don Lucia, and Bob Motzko all standing together, the last three coaches of Gopher hockey at that point. You guys know, like when they show the inauguration of a new president?
The ex-presidents are there?
Back when the ex-presidents used to attend these things, you would always see, let's say, for example, George W. Bush standing there, the outgoing president, with Barack Obama, the incoming president. The outgoing president always looked like smiley, happy, hey, not my problem anymore. And the incoming president always looked like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into?
Yes.
8 years ago, I saw those two expressions from Don Lucia and Bob Motzko. Don looked relaxed, cool. Hey, I did my thing. I've got 2 championship rings, all of that. Bob, good luck. And Bob kind of had that look like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's almost like a transfer of the monkey, right? The monkey's off my back. I'm going to put it on yours now.
Exactly.
Oh, and by the way,
exactly.
it's 2 times as heavy now.
It's way
So,
heavier now.
What did you guys?
Yeah.
I'm curious. What did you guys, or not necessarily you guys, but the media think of the Motzko hire originally 8 years ago?
For what he had done at St. Cloud leading up to 2018, I thought he was the best candidate, I believe. I don't
Kinda
remember.
It seemed like the obvious choice at that
Yeah,
point.
it did
really
feel like an obvious
Okay.
choice. Yeah.
So there wasn't really
You know,
much
and I remember
parity.
like Todd Richards' name was thrown around at that point.
You're
You know,
right.
He had just gotten done coaching in the NHL
Deep
and
cut.
had mixed success there. And there were, Grant Patolny's name, I think, came up at that point. Grant Patolny at that time, I think, had been at Northern like a year or 2.
1 or
And it
2,
was
yeah.
like, it seemed like too quick, maybe.
Yeah.
Bob was the obvious choice. And I got to say this too. At that time, the Huskies were really, really good.
Yeah.
They were coming off, a really good team. They had a loaded team coming back in 2018-19 that Bob and Raboin and guys had recruited. All of that factored in. And I remember asking I don't know if I asked the question or somebody asked Bob, why would you walk away from St. Cloud at this point with all you've built there, with all you've got coming back, all of that? And I'll never forget this. Motzko said, in your career, if you're lucky, you get one chance at a job like this and you have to take a kick at the can. And I think that's what it came down to a lot for Brett Larson too. I mean, this was the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah.
He as much said that yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, so
much
he
said
ends
that
up
yesterday.
taking that job. That's official. And I guess too, just there's been a lot of really mixed reactions online. I've seen some fan accounts that say like Brett's the guy, rah rah. Some other people that are like, this is the worst move they could have chosen. And a lot of people that are kind of just in the middle saying, meh, we'll see. So kind of just a lot of mixed right now. And I think honestly, it's gonna be kind of bigger now as a St. Cloud State fan, kind of what they end up doing. If they could bring in a younger coach like Nick Oliver, I feel like it could maybe be a win-win for both programs in a way.
Yeah.
Like if they can bring in someone new and fresh, and then Brett can kind of go to the Minnesota, and obviously he'll have a lot of resources, so it'll be kind of interesting to see that. I think for St. Cloud, this is kind of a critical hire. You really need to make a splash, I feel like, with this next coach. And I don't know if you guys have how well you know the recruiting classes, but a lot of people are kind of wondering like, okay, well, does he take any St. Cloud players with him? What kind of happens to the current Gopher players? Because I think they get 5 days before they can enter the portal once a new coach is hired or something like that. Because I don't think the Gophers have many spots to fill this season if no one leaves, right? There's not really many guys that are leaving.
Well, that's the big question of 26 players, 28 players too. Like,
Yeah,
I've heard the
because
number
I've
might go up
seen-
1 this year.
I've seen a lot of
Brody
people
Zemer's a
talk
flight
about
risk,
that.
I would say.
Because I've seen a lot of people say, oh, is Brett going to bring all these St. Cloud guys? I don't think they have that many spots they can fill unless other guys leave from the Gophers roster. Like, they don't have turnover like last year where they need to fill all these freshmen. And they got guys like the Collins that are supposed to come in, and
Macio's coming in.
ACO, and they have a bunch
Wyatt?
of other guys that are supposed to come in. So it's kind of like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. But I don't think they have a ton of spots outside of those guys, unless current guys on the roster leave, which a lot of people thought it was funny that Leo Gruba was originally recruited by St. Cloud and was at the Gophers, and now Brett's his coach. That's kind of just a funny coincidence. So that's
Yeah,
so
really funny coincidence.
I'm reminded of, thinking about this Gophers roster and the fact that they do have a lot of guys coming back. I'm reminded of,
Yeah.
this happened back when I was covering the WCHA, and invariably somebody had to finish 10th every year. And you'd talk to them the next year at the start of the next season, and they'd say, yeah, we only won 6 games last year and we took a lot of lumps, but we've got everybody coming back. And I would always think, why would that be a good thing?
Yeah.
yeah.
And not that there's not a ton of talent on this Gophers roster, but to say you've got everybody coming back after your first losing season, literally in this millennium,
Yeah.
maybe there do need to be some changes made. You
Yeah,
mentioned You mentioned Gruba. He's an interesting one. I have it on good authority that Carson Pilgrim took his visit to St. Cloud State last weekend. Like when he saw hadn't made a decision yet. All of a sudden, is the University of Minnesota interested in him? You wonder how
Yeah.
this transfers over with a change this dramatic.
Yeah, it gets really messy because then you have all the recruits to Minnesota, all the recruits to St. Cloud. Do they stay committed there? Do the guys currently on the Gopher team, do they portal elsewhere? Do they stay? Do they sign? I like everybody's just like, oh, do they get Austin Bernovic? I don't know. We will see. I think a lot of it depends also on what St. Cloud ends up doing here. They got to kind of move quickly, I think, in my opinion. But everybody kind of thinks, well, it's got to be Nick Oliver's job, right? So we'll kind of see what happens with that. I assume we'll have some more news on that by next week.
I can't see it being anyone but Nick Oliver.
Yeah, I feel like it have to be similar to the Ravoine situation where, Nick Oliver's got to be your number one call. And if he's not interested, then, obviously you got to go somewhere else. But
Well,
he's gotta be
why don't they
the
go
number
for
one.
why don't they go for Ravoine? Get Garrett another
Yeah,
raise.
well, somebody mentioned that too. They're like, well, do they
Get him
also
another
talk to
raise,
Garrett
why not?
Ravoine? Obviously he's got St. Cloud ties, so does he want to challenge to come, bring this program kind of back to success, or
How bad does Firstweiler really want to coach in his home state? Let's see.
Yeah, let's see.
yeah,
let's see.
or do they just take a kind of an up and
Or-
coming USHL coach? I don't know.
The greatest suggestion I've heard, of course, is
Bob Motzko.
65-year-old
Yeah.
guy. In fact, I think his birthday is today. No, maybe Friday is his birthday. Sitting down in Florida with nothing to do right now, who's got some ties to the St. Cloud program. Give Bob Motzko a call.
I tweeted this to somebody, or I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, it would be one of the best stories if Bob decided to come back to St. Cloud, just basically to finish kind of
It would be
what he
incredible.
started.
It's not.
I think there would be a lot of mixed reactions of love it or absolutely hate it, but wow, that would certainly be a story. I
Tony?
don't even know if he would even be remotely interested, but that would be so just such a story if that even was a slight possibility whatsoever.
It'd
Tony,
be so good. Yes, sir.
Tony, Sydney and Ryan won't have any clue what I'm talking about here, but I think
I
you
like
will.
this.
Does the name Bud Grant mean anything to you?
Yeah.
Retired from the Vikings.
And came back.
They went 3-13 with his
Yeah.
replacement. So they brought Bud Grant back for one more year.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I'm
They
not
were
saying a
actually
lot of fans
decent,
would
though.
be-
Yeah, they were.
okay
They
with
were.
it,
They were
but-
about 500.
Yeah.
They're under Bud Grant. That 1 year, and then he
So,
retired for real
I-
that time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there, but that'll be certainly interesting. So we'll kind of see. I think it will probably be interesting to see how the next year goes. I think Brett will probably do good. Obviously, the past few years have not been great for St. Cloud, so I do have a couple, reservations about how he'll do with the Gophers. But obviously, when you have so many more resources behind you, it's going to be a lot easier to win. So I think it will be very interesting. And I wanted to just quick bring up too, have you guys heard anything official on the assistants or GM front? Because I had one person that was talking to me related to USHL stuff that said they thought recruits that the current assistants were staying on. So what's kind of the word right now with all of that? Yes, Tony.
So, well, first of all, the 3 coaches are still on staff.
Well,
And-
yeah,
and
as
they've
of right
been
now,
at
yeah.
both press conferences. And
Okay.
Brett, I'm just going to tell you the official, and then I'll tell you what Tony thinks. Okay. The
Yeah.
official was Brett said at the press conference somewhere he said, "I'm planning on interviewing all the coaches and learning about what their strengths and weaknesses and how they could fit in with my plan." That was said yesterday, so that's going to happen in the next day or two.
So TBD. Yeah.
Yep. And by all accounts, they're interviewing for 1 job and maybe 0 jobs.
Yeah.
This is the most prevalent through all of my channels is that Matt Cullen and Corey Leyland will be on the staff. Those are done deals. At least verbally done deals. Obviously, they haven't signed their contracts and passed background checks, etc. The lone job that's available, and Brett confirmed it yesterday that he wants a recruiting coordinator / GM, but he doesn't know if that person will be titled that. It'll just be an assistant coach's job to be in charge of recruiting. But it won't be a
Sure.
Brett Cheezick kind of Bryn Cheezick kind of thing, as they have in North Dakota, and with Leon at St. Thomas.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that it's between Ben Gordon and Scott Bell. And Scott Bell's a current former Gopher and current scout for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And he was on staff with Don Lucia the final year of the
Final
Lucia
year.
regime.
Yes.
So if they fully clean house with, the current people and stuff, that obviously could make some waves in recruits and stuff because they're gonna have to get to know everybody. So that would be, probably pretty big.
Tony, let me ask you, have you heard anything about Steve Miller? Any idea?
I've heard he will be retiring. That's what I've heard.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
Killer was at both press conferences. If he wasn't interested in returning to the University of Minnesota, why would he attend those meetings? Just to make it look good?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I mean, loyalty to the program too. I mean, he's done
Yep.
a lot of good things there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure we'll have this same conversation then whenever all the St. Cloud stuff happens, because obviously then too, you never know, are they going to keep staff, bring in new people? That's always interesting. So, and as recruits and stuff end up, making decisions, we'll talk about that too. But Tony, did you want to give kind of a quick hit on the women's coach update too, since we talked about that last week as well? I know we don't talk a ton about women's hockey, but what did you kind of get from that?
And the
presser?
only reason I want to talk about it today was because we talked about it on the emergency, and and I said this on a podcast. Oh, it was on the Monday Morning Commute, that by this time it was already announced that he was the coach, and I've said it, and I stand by this, that I think that choice 1A was Nadine, and choice 1B was Boom, and they got 1B because Nadine got a new contract, and I believe it was a great choice. I think that Boom's going to breathe a lot of breathe some fresh air into the program. I know the players because I've worked with them the last 2 years at the U. I know the players love Boom, and I know that he's really into this. And I know that he's going to do a great job at the U. Are they going to beat Ohio State and Wisconsin next year? Probably not, but it's going to take a couple of years, and I think he's going to get his vision and his imprint on the program, and I think the Gopher program will be back on the national stage, in the national tournament, in the Frozen Four very soon.
Yeah, I saw some clips of the press conference and stuff, and even what he was saying got me fired up, and I don't even play for the team, so obviously that makes you at least kind of optimistic if you're listening to a speech and you go, I think I'm motivated now to play for this guy. I'm not even on the team. So
and I felt the same way after leaving both press conferences, that both coaches won the presser.
Yeah, I feel like
they
Brett
looked
comes
really
off
good.
really well in a lot of pressers. So I think that we kind of all talked about that Bob, obviously, we all know him. He can kind of come off pretty grumpy a lot of times in pressers and media and stuff. But Brett is also really good at talking to people and, always gives good quotes and stuff. So that'll be good to have those two coaches that are very good at, taking questions, even if they're hard questions or after bad losses, and, giving you some content to go off of.
Before we move on, Sid.
I do like the idea that Brett's final moment as coach of the Huskies was an absolute meltdown where he had to be dragged off the ice
I
by
love
his
it.
assistant coaches.
It's so funny because people were commenting like he's fighting for his players. I'm like, that was a bad night. That was a bad night. I don't think that was a good look to end on. That was bad. But there was a lot of things going on. So
Speaking
I
of
don't
bad, Sydney, I want you to just vomit on this show all the bad things you think about Brett Larson for those
I
Gopher
definitely
fans out there.
don't have many bad
come on.
things about
Do you want me
Brett
to start
as a
reading
person.
texts? I'll start
preface this
reading
by saying
texts.
I think Brett is a great person. Like, he seems like a super nice guy. I think he did have a lot of great success early on at St. Cloud, but as everybody said, I felt like the last few years were really disappointing because everybody keeps saying online they love to spew like St. Cloud's terrible. Nobody wants to play there. They can't get any good players. We have plenty of talent on the St. Cloud team right now. The last few years were just frustrating. And if you look at his last few years, missed the tournament last 3 years. And I think 3 of their last 4 games this season before the year ended, they blew third period leads and gave up extra attacker goals to then lose. So
Here we go. Come on, keep
not
going.
a great
Keep
finish to
going.
the
You're on
season.
a roll.
And I
You're
will
on a
say
roll.
too, I told some people this as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised next year if there's a couple moments where, with a minute 30 left in the game, where you have a 1 goal lead, the fourth line is out there, and then you get scored on. That's happened too many times to count, I feel like, the last few seasons. So I'll be very interested to see if his style of play changes at all with the type of players they have at Minnesota. And a lot of people too were like, oh, is he going to bring, gritty and physical? I'm like, I don't really think St. Cloud was gritty and physical this year. So I don't know who's throwing that around. I don't really
City might
think
be
St. Cloud
gritty.
had much of an identity this year, which was an issue. So I am, I think he will do a good job, but I am curious to see kind of if there's any patterns that emerge after watching him next year that we saw from St. Cloud, or if it's going to be completely different. I have no idea because he's also had a lot of success, World Juniors, all that stuff. So I don't know.
I'm just
Can I-
curious. Is
can-
that
can
is,
I-
is that all you got? I feel like there's more. We're having a little
I could read so many tweets
intervention
that
here.
have examples, but I'm not going to go through all of them because we got other stuff to talk about.
Okay. all
Can
right.
I unload on Brett Larson for a second?
Yeah. Are we going negative on Brett Larson?
I just want to say he screwed everything up
Why?
because for 10 years I've been saying he's the next coach of the UMD Bulldogs. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
we got the colors right.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
I'm,
maybe
I'm just
after
gonna
his-
say, yeah, those pictures of him with the maroon zip
Maybe,
up with the M on it, it just looked weird.
Did look a
Maybe
little
after
weird.
his time at the Gophers, whenever that's up, maybe by then Sandelin will finally be done at Duluth, and then he'll do full circle and then go to Duluth.
I don't. I think the Adam Krauses of the world were clicking their heels when Brett took that job at the U because because they know Sandy's days are not necessarily numbered, but he's not going to be there in 5 years, right? So hey, Krause's got to be going. Hey, I'm the captain now, right?
Yeah, because
And
didn't Brett sign for, what was it, 5?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Gopher coaches don't last 5 years. I mean,
Can I offer another hot take too?
I love
Yeah.
it.
Since we're talking about this, here's my hot take: Garrett Raboin is the next coach of the Minnesota Gophers,
That could be.
Oh, hot take.
and here's why I say that.
So does that mean he's coming to St. Cloud for the next 5 years?
No,
Yeah,
And
that
then going to
means
St. Cloud.
that means
You have to, right?
whenever Brett Larson decides to step down,
Yeah.
be it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever. I think Garrett Raboin will be the next coach of the Gophers. I think he would have been the next coach of the Gophers this time if he had wanted to. And I'm going to throw out a reason why he didn't.
Ooh,
I have
Number
too.
one, well, a couple reasons. Number one, he's got a great facility. He's got a great thing going at Augustana. He's just started building, I think, something that's going to be pretty special there.
yep.
Here's the other reason. He's 40 years old. Turns 41 on Friday. He's going to be
Plenty of time.
41. He and Bob Motzko have the same birthday. I just love that little piece of trivia.
Interesting.
Okay. As someone pointed out to me, someone who used to coach in the Big Ten pointed out to me, a job like this is a 10 to 12-year job in modern college hockey at
Right. Yep.
best.
Yep.
You're going to get a decade. If you're really good, you're going to get a dozen years. If you're Garrett Raboin, knowing that, do you want to be looking for your next job when you're 53 years old? You do not.
Right.
So that's why I say 10 years from now, 12 years from now, when this job is open again, maybe sooner, but I don't know. I think Garrett Raboin will be the next coach of the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Put that in a
there's my
time
hot
I think that's
capsule.
pretty solid.
Yep.
I think that's pretty solid.
Yep.
Put that in a time capsule.
Yeah, I,
I
think
feel like these next few years are going to be tough for Brett because, obviously Gopher fans are upset coming off of this season. So if Brett starts out kind of cold next year, I think fans are going to be easily upset faster because they just had a, frustrating season. So I feel like fans are going to be extra upset if it continues. So it's definitely not an easy job to step into right now.
I'll tell you something right now. If Matt Cullen is on the staff, Matt Cullen doesn't lose.
Well, I know that.
He does not
The
lose.
the assistant
not a
coaches
loser,
are going to.
And they will turn the program around. I'm not saying he's going to win the national
Sydney,
championship or the Big
Gopher
Ten.
fans, though. Gopher fans. They're saying,
Yeah.
hey, just do your best. We love you.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
Jack Parker once famously said about sports fans in Boston, says Boston fans are the best. They're with you, win or tie.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
No. There's going to be very little patience. I have a feeling. I mean,
Yeah. I think the assistant coaches will be big too, because obviously if they can get, Colin and those other guys, that'll be, a huge part of it, I think. So We'll see, but yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of patience next year if there's
I, I
bad
think
stuff.
I think you nailed a nail on the head, Sydney. You said this whole transaction might be good for both St. Cloud and Minnesota.
It could be.
And I firmly believe that'll be good, and I'm really excited if Nick Oliver were to get that opportunity to be the head coach.
Yeah.
It's ironic. You want to hear a real ironic thing? The last 3 Select 54 camps, they have them over in Plymouth every year. It's almost, I can show you the spot at Plymouth Ice Center, number 3, rink 3, where I got to talk to both Brett Larson and Nick Oliver, and they're always sitting right next to each other. So I get to go talk to the Wisconsin coach and the St. Cloud coach in one setting and talk to them. And I always joke like, wow, this will be interesting. You know, you could be his predecessor. And they of course kind of chuckle, but they both know it was true. You know, they know once Brett leaves, this guy's getting his job. And you know, Nick's fairly, you know, humble guy. Oh yeah, things work out that way. Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you knew that was potentially the case all along. And I think if Nick doesn't get the job, then we need an investigation.
Yeah, so I think he's clearly the front runner, but I think this is a big hire for St. Cloud. They need to get somebody that's going to be kind of fresh and exciting. I know this sounds bad, and there's no shade to anyone on the current staff, but everyone's like, you can't just hire from within with this. I'd say you got to go out and get somebody fresh and somebody that's ready for the challenge of the uniqueness of this St. Cloud job and to kind of bring it back to where it was a couple years ago, doing good stuff. So,
well, they have plenty of good players in the program, like you said.
Yeah, people are always saying how they don't even have any good players at Soar, and I'm like, there's plenty of talent right now.
There's plenty of talent, and
there's
that's what's the
plenty
most
of Minnesotans
interesting
that wanna play
take
for
here.
Minnesota teams. Yeah,
For me is how many Gophers get let go and how many Huskies get brought in. It could be up to 5 players.
yeah,
I really
don't think
do.
it's gonna
I
be
really
a
think so.
ton, because even looking at the roster, I know some people were pointing it out. I'm like, how many of these guys are actually, and this sounds bad, but Gopher material? Because this year there was a
there's
lot of
plenty.
there was a couple guys that were good, but kind of the bottom half of the roster are not guys that are going to be playing for the Gophers, in my opinion. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Gophers got 8 guys currently scheduled to come in next year.
8 guys? Read those off to me.
Yeah.
All right, apologies to the butcher of the names, Jacob Kavanicka. Kwasnika.
He's killing it right now too.
Christian,
so he'll come in.
Christian Humphreys
player of the
recently.
month in the WHL in January.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Christian Humphreys.
at Michigan.
Yep.
Just
Levi
committed.
Harper.
Who's that?
Levi Harper
Okay.
from Tampa in the OHL. He's an 08. Both the Cullen brothers, Brooks and Wyatt.
Yep.
Maceo.
Yep.
Matthew Grimes.
I don't even know who that is.
He's from
Is that the
Minnesota.
Dallas kid playing the OHL?
nope, this guy's from New York, Locust Valley. He's playing for Sioux Falls in the USHL.
All right.
And then Jackson Nevers.
Oh, yeah, he has to come in.
By the way, can we just keep going with Maceo? I just want to do one name. I want to have a one-name
It's
college
just a
hockey player.
Maceo.
Oh,
Like you have
Pele.
Ronaldo,
Yep.
or you have Sting or Cher
Yep.
or
Maceo.
Madonna.
Ovechkin.
Maceo. We're not even using the last name.
Oh.
Yeah, Ovechkin.
Who's
Yeah.
who's one in hockey?
No, not a
First
nickname.
name.
Just
First name.
Just a one name.
Yeah.
Is there a one in hockey? Lou?
Lou Nanny?
Yeah.
No, he's Lou Nanny.
I think honestly the last one we had in Minnesota was Sid.
That's a good point.
I made this post one time. So I'm going to get off on a tangent. Shocker. My wife and I went to Murray's, the steakhouse. We had lunch there one time. And Murray's kind of a power restaurant. That's where all the big wigs go. I posted later. I said we were at Murray's for lunch, and we saw Sid, and we saw Walter Mondale, both at the same restaurant. And here's what's amazing: the Vice President of the United States, I had to use his last name. Sid, I did
You don't.
because everybody knows Sid.
Everyone knows who that is. Yeah, absolutely. R.I.P. Sid Hartman.
One of the best. The best.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to jump off here pretty quickly.
Do you have any picks for the regionals?
Yeah,
Any upsets? Give me your upset
who are your
picks.
favorites?
Never pick against Denver and Loveland. That's the one bit of advice.
Okay. So that-
Okay.
And you know, I like the Bulldogs. I like the way they're playing right now, but being in a region with Michigan is tough
What a
because if
gauntlet.
Michigan knows how to do one thing, it's win regions.
What a
So those are my two
Michigan,
thoughts on the
Bentley, who's
regionals.
the other
I
one?
hope they get
Penn
I
State.
hope they get some fans in Albany. I think they'll get a good crowd in Sioux Falls because it's a good rink and
Yep.
North Dakota's there and their fans travel. Before I run to, I would be remiss if I didn't just say a quick word. Rest in peace to our friends Jesse Pierce.
Absolutely.
Just maybe the most horrible news I've had to deal with in a long time, and hope we don't ever have to deal with a situation like this again if we're lucky. But you know, we all knew Jesse in the hockey world. She worked harder than anybody, covering the Wild for NHL.com, writing for Minnesota Hockey Journal, writing for USA Hockey Magazine. You know, she was everywhere at every rink, always brought a smile, and the loss of her, and not only her, but her 3 children along with her, that just horrific house fire, is still hitting a lot of us pretty hard.
Absolutely.
I said this on one of our shows this week that what I'll miss most about Jesse is how unique, other than your standard period scores with shots on goal, stuff like that. But I would say 85% of her tweets, everything she delivered was original. You know, she had her Taco Bell stuff. She
did social media the right way.
She did social media the right way. She
make
did
social
it
media
original.
casual.
Yeah, it was very well. Everything she did was a 10 out of 10, I thought. She was fantastic.
And you know, I was thankful to get on a plane and get out of Minnesota for a few days just because there's, you know, I've been on TV talking about Jesse. I've been on the radio talking about Jesse. You know, we were friends for 15 years. It was good to just, okay, I'm going to go to Florida. I'm going to get away from it. I get to Tampa yesterday, and number 1 on the seating chart, they've got Jesse Pierce listed. They've got a seat saved for her. They put a nice bouquet at that seat. They put a nameplate for her in the press box, and not a shame to admit there were a few tears, and you really realize what an impact she had, not only in the Twin Cities sports media, the Minnesota sports media, but throughout the NHL. Everybody who knew her loved her, respected her, and it's going to leave a hole in a lot of our lives for a long time. So Jesse, we miss you, and thank you for what you were to all of us.
Yeah, just an original article. That's what she was one of those originals.
Yes, I do want to mention there is a GoFundMe out there as well as Score North. They have released these sweatshirts with her initials called Line Heathens on it because her main thing.
I did order a Line Heathens.
I did as well. I got myself an olive green Live Heathens. I am somebody that also is obsessed with lines and seeing who's in the press box, who are they going with. So all proceeds of the sweatshirts are going to her husband as well as the family. So
Tony, you openly gave me crap a couple of weeks ago about that famed Matamita Waro double overtime game, state championship game. I had bet someone a pizza on that game, and I paid my bet at Zamboni's across the street from the rink later. But Jesse, of course, was a proud Matamita grad.
Yeah, and a St. Cloud and a Iowa State alum as well.
So last time I talked to Jesse, she was wearing an Iowa State shirt because it was a Cyclone game day, and proud Cyclone. So
that was cool. I've learned more about her in her absence than I did know about her previous to that. Like Chris Peters wrote the most amazing tribute to her. They both, he hired her at Iowa State, and they had a connection there at Iowa State, which I thought was just really neat. All the different connections. She's touched a ton of us in the media, and the media has done a wonderful job sharing their thoughts and love for her. But I thought that was the one that really jumped out at me because that's where she got her start. And he could see it in her then, and the rest of us, he could see her then what we all got to see 15 to 20 years down the road.
I'll say too, a Wild player. You know, I don't have a ton of cell numbers for these guys because we respect their privacy. You know, they've got a different life. But a Wild player who happened to have my cell number sent a text to me and to Mike Russo and to Joe Smith, kind of the 3 of us who cover the team most often, and said, "Hey, thinking about you guys. Please reach out if we can do anything." I mean, that really hits you in the heart when you realize what a huge impact she had on so many lives.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Guerin's talk was fantastic. There was so many great tributes to her, and all well-deserved, in my opinion.
So I got to run. Thank you guys.
All
Thank
right.
you, Jess.
See you, Jess. Thanks for being on the show.
See ya.
Talk to you soon.
All right, awesome. Well, Jess is logging off from Florida, so I guess it's just us.
We just get Sydney twice as big
now.
now. You just doubled in
Nice.
size on the
Nice.
screen.
Well, we got the huge topic of the coaching change out of the way. Might
was
as well
good.
go through
That was
uh,
good.
a couple small things on the games that happened this weekend. I actually watched a couple of random ones, so that's fun. But
I watched more
CCHA
college hockey. I kept more
watched some?
tuned. Well, I'm just so into the calculator, right? How does this
Okay, because
calculator
I was
work?
watching like Princeton Dartmouth the
Yeah.
other day. I was watching
My
the
first time
Merrimack
watching Dartmouth
game.
all year. I was like, what's this all about this year?
Yeah.
All
I
I
was like,
gotta say,
Okay.
all I gotta say is watch out UND because Merrimack is
Dude.
blazing hot right now. Aren't
Yeah,
they?
but Hockey East was such a hot mess. So like,
So you're
they are,
discounting this
but-
hotness?
no, I'm not discounting it because I know their coach said, what did he say the other day? There was a quote that was like, we don't feel, what was it? Like they felt disrespected or something. And I'm not saying that they're
Dude, you're
bad,
15
but
NPI.
Hockey East was just so meh this
Yeah.
year that it was kind of like, honestly, any of those teams could have come out with that because Hockey East was so up and down. So I'm not discrediting Merrimack. They're good, but like, geez, Hockey East was just a hot mess this year.
Yeah, holy
So if
moly.
I got this right, had they lost, who what would have happened?
Well,
if
UConn would have won.
is UConn out?
No, they're the last team in
They're
this year.
they're 15.
They are,
But Augustana would have got in. Augustana would have
13.
got in.
they're 14, yeah.
Yep.
So
Augustana would have got that 15th spot.
15, yes, Merrimack, yeah.
And
So
they'd
I
be
have that-
playing in Sioux Falls against UND, which would have been epic.
Yeah, so since you just mentioned that, so the CCHA game, so yes, so Augustana ended up being unfortunately the first team out in the NPI. They would have been in if not for Merrimack, which
Correct.
sucks. And St. Thomas ended up right beneath Augustana, so a lot of teams right on that cutoff because the CCHA championship game. Tony, you were right. I think you picked the Mavs. They downed St. Thomas 4-1. Couple game
Just
notes.
so you know, I picked it on our show
Yeah.
last Monday, but apparently I
Yeah.
picked St. Thomas on the commute.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
had-
Bases
You
covered.
picked
I
both,
didn't even
yeah.
realize I did it. Actually, it was who pointed it out was the former coach at MSU, Darren
okay.
Blue. Darren Blue was coming home from the state Bantam tournament from Moorhead,
Yep.
and they tuned into the commute on their way home, and I picked
Gotcha.
UST
to
to beat
cover
him
all
down
your
there. I was
bases.
like, sorry, Darren, I don't remember who I picked from 1 minute
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
next. I have to pick so many games.
Yeah.
So I apologize
So-
to him.
Yep.
In this game, Tristan Lemire, national champion past few seasons with Western and Denver, looking for another one this year, I guess, with the Mavs. Scores.
Don't
He had a
count that out.
No, and he had a 3-point night, so he's heating up right now. And then Dylan Godbout scored for St. Thomas, but Evan Murr scores. It's the eventual game winner. Great name. Luigi Benincasa scores. Jack Smith both tack on goals at the end. Evan Murr also a 3-point game. So
It's
it
so
just seemed
fun
like it
because
was kind of the Mavs game.
yeah, I was there on that Saturday against Tech. Benny, what is it called? What is his name? Benny,
What?
the kid from Mankato. You just said Benny D.
Oh, Luigi
Luigi
Benincasa.
Benincasa.
Jeez.
He's so good. He is so good. He is fast. He is really fast, and he's treacherous to deal with. That's the kind of guy that, if you're looking for a scouting report, those are the type of guys that Ben Mankato has that really impressed me. Lemire was one
Yeah,
of them too.
he's one of those guys who I think gets overlooked because they're kind of on the smaller side and they're just fast and yeah, he
Luigi.
started at Ferris, so I don't think many people were paying attention to him, and he's been on the score sheet a chunk for Minnesota State. And I think he's got one more year of eligibility too. Plus a great name. That's a fun name to
Yes.
say.
I've said it in the past, but don't be surprised if Alex Tracy, like I said, just doesn't let in goals.
That's
He's-
what I'm saying.
Like
Yeah,
it might
just
be a
doesn't
race to
allow it.
2. It really might be a race to 2 versus Western.
Yeah.
That game will
So
be really good.
I mean, both
that'll be
goalies.
a
Like it's
very
Yeah.
interesting one. And as we said before, the Tommies are now officially out of the CCHA into the NCHC. Welcome. It's going to be way harder now.
is Western and Minnesota State a rematch from last year too? I realize. Is that
It
right?
might be, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was there in Fargo.
I think
Yeah, you
it
were there.
was.
Yeah,
UMass,
Now that
Minnesota,
you say that.
Western ended Minnesota's season last year.
Minnesota State's.
Minnesota
think
State
so.
season last year.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Revenge time.
Yeah, so with that win, Minnesota State actually, which this wouldn't matter because if they would have lost, they'd be out. But Minnesota State actually finished 13 in the NPI with the win. So technically they got an at-large and an automatic qualifier to get into the tournament. But obviously that wouldn't have mattered if they lost because they would have been flipped with St. Thomas. So kind of interesting that they actually went up that much in the pairwise as well. So they are in. And unfortunately, Augustana one result away from getting in. So really
One
close.
goal away.
Yeah, very close. And speaking of that Hockey East tournament, the semifinals, I won't go through game notes, but Merrimack beat UMass, and UConn beat Boston College in the semis. UMass and BC, that both ended their seasons. Yes, Tony.
I'm just waving at BC.
Oh, you're just waving? Oh, you're just waving goodbye? Okay. They both finished 17 and 18 in the NPI, so obviously their fans are not excited. And a note to UMass losing as well. I know their fans were kind of upset because if you look between the differences of the NPI and the pairwise, UMass would actually be the last team in instead of UConn, in comparison to the two different.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, that'd be the only team that would be different is UMass would be in and not UConn, which is kind of interesting. So UMass fans not too hot,
They don't
not
like
too
the
hot on the
NPI
NPI,
formula?
not too hot on that.
So someone
Um,
went in to put all the data into to pairwise, even
I
though
guess
it's
so.
not
I
used?
saw some chart that somebody
sure.
had, and it was NPI results for the year and
Losers. This is a
pairwise.
loser.
That's an AI question. these
That's a
days,
loser.
easily.
Yeah,
Hopefully there's a
could
I
just
did
say.
not fact check it, but they said that the only team difference, not the only ranking. The rankings might be a little different, but all the teams would be the same except
what did
UMass.
UConn they were 13? 14?
UConn was the last team
14.
in, and they are 14.
Yeah.
So UMass would have been flipped, and they
Were
would
they
have been
15?
the last team in.
They must have been 16.
UMass was 13 before this week, and then after their loss, they went to 17. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure how all the wins are weighted.
I don't know.
and
Then that's crazy.
I don't know, but I know they do not seem very excited about the NPI this year because they missed out, but they should have won their semifinal then. So,
Yep.
oh well.
Those
Um,
semifinals were huge.
Yeah, they're big games, like we said. Hockey
Those
East
last
is
three games of
uh,
the year, the last
yeah.
3 games of the year were sometimes the most important 3 games.
Hockey East is a hot mess. Their championship game was the 3 and the 8 seed in the conference, so just okay. Merrimack beats UConn, wins Hockey East for the first time ever. 2-1 final score. Kalen Fitzpatrick, the game-winning goal about 30 seconds into the third period. Not many penalties all game, which is cool, but the story, I think, was Merrimack's goalie, Max Lundgren, made 49 saves in the win. So I feel like without that performance, you're probably not winning that game. So that could be a tough one too if all of a sudden North Dakota runs into a hot goalie who could make like 50 saves at the tourney. So yeah, you gotta think about that. But the Hockey East teams that made the tournament then, Merrimack, Providence got an at-large bid, and UConn is the last kind of at-large bid team that got in.
Right.
ECAC semifinals, Dartmouth beat Clarkson, Princeton beat Cornell. Championship game, Dartmouth beats Princeton 2-1 in overtime. Tony, you were calling me during this game because we were trying to figure out all the Augustana stuff.
All
And
the
I thought
August.
Princeton
All I care about was Augustana. I don't know why I've
Princeton looked
become.
pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, credit to Princeton. I thought they actually looked like pretty good. I didn't really know who was going to win the overtime, but shout out Dartmouth going to the tourney or winning their conference. I forgot what it was for the first time since like 1980,
believe
I
they
think it
won.
was.
I believe they won. Yeah.
I thought it was
Last time
never
Hockey East ever. No, I think that was
a conference
Uh,
tournament ever. They won a
conference
conference tournament. First time
May
ever
put
winning
it
a
in
conference
order.
tournament.
Playing its first ECAC championship game since 1980. That's what the
Wow.
stat
They
is.
haven't
That's a
won
text.
one ever.
Yeah, for the first time in program history, Dartmouth are ECAC champions.
Wow.
Yeah, ever.
Pretty crazy. So shout out Reed Cashman. I believe he's ECAC Coach of the Year.
Yes, from Red Wing, Minnesota. This is
Love
the
to see
cradle
that.
of coaching right here in the state.
I know, it's crazy.
Andy Jones, right?
Yeah.
He wins the AHA, right?
Yeah, he wins Atlantic. I had some down here. Reed Cashman, yeah, and then
And
I just saw today. I know we were
damn
keeping
it,
an eye on
damn
CCHA,
it,
but
had
Luke Graham won
that
the
meddling
CCHA.
David Carl not one. We would have had another one in the NCHC with Sandlin. Could have won the NCHC.
So ECAC, like we said, Dartmouth wins. There's a guy who scored the game winner, Tim Busconi, I think is how you say it, overtime
Yeah.
game winner. Fun fact, sophomore defender, his second goal of the season, second goal of his college career, ends up being that huge goal. Kind of crazy. I saw kind of an unfortunate note from some reporters that were at the games that said there were no local media outlets that went to this tournament in Lake Placid. Only the Cornell Sun and College Hockey News were the only media there. So that's obviously pretty disappointing.
When I was at the Michigan Tech Mankato, I was the only member
Yeah.
of the media.
It's just kind of sad how some of these
Yikes.
places are.
I mean, there
just
was
cutting
Michigan
a lot
Tech
of-
medias there, SID,
Yeah.
and obviously Mankato had
There's
a lot of media
you
there.
know-
But I was like, I think I'm the only member of the media here.
Not a lot of local papers, not a lot of local reporters going to a lot of games anymore. So I thought that was just kind of a bummer of a note
It's
that
definitely
there's less and less college hockey coverage kind of
Well,
everywhere.
I mean,
it's definitely a bummer.
I'll say this, right? So Brett Larson's in this meeting yesterday. There's Don Mitchell and Mike Max. He lives in St. Cloud. He's lived in Duluth. He's lived in Columbus, Ohio. He's lived in USHL towns. He's standing at this press conference. He knows nobody. Nobody in the
Yeah,
room.
at St. Cloud State, the pressers would normally be. If
Oh,
I
wait,
was
I'm
there,
sorry. He
it
knew
was
Mick. Mick was there.
Mick. Yeah,
Mick was there.
A bunch of student media, because obviously St. Cloud, there's always a ton of student media.
Yeah.
And maybe one person from the St. Cloud Times, but they typically only have like one or two people on their staff. So maybe them. But
And he
just-
addressed two people in the media by first name.
yeah,
Mick.
so just kind of
And
a
Tony.
bummer.
Everybody
Yeah,
else
so-
was like, I don't know who you are. You know?
Yeah, bummer kind of how media has gone with college hockey teams. Some teams I don't even think have beat writers really at all.
That's
So
why
kind of
Ryan was
bummer.
saying that we were talking about college hockey, and he goes, "Yeah, there's more pressure." Where I'm like, I think there's less media on college hockey today than there was.
I think
10,
you just
20
can't-
years
Yeah,
ago.
there's a lot of
especially
fan
on-site.
accounts.
Yeah,
Especially on site. I would say there's more eyeballs.
well, there's
these days,
more.
but-
Well, there's more nerds. There's more people with phones pretending they're media, but I don't think that
absolutely.
there's.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
a lot
think
of fan
there's
accounts.
actual
actual
media
media-
in the
when-
press
yeah,
conference.
I was at a
Yeah.
St. Thomas game this year, and their press conference room doubles as their media room at the
Right.
night. And I was just packing up my camera gear, and Rico walks in, and there was one guy, one member of the press there, and he had his
Yeah.
iPhone, like in this like gimbal little thing,
Yep.
and was filming, and asked him like 5
Yeah.
questions, and then they're like, "All right," and I forget but he was just like, "Oh, thanks, John," and got
Yeah,
up
and if Jess
Have a
was here,
nice
I'm sure
day.
he'd tell you for a long time and go for pressers. I think he was the only one talking to Bob Motzko a lot of the time too. So kind of just sad that there's not that much coverage. So
as a photographer, one thing, photo holes, we love them.
Yeah,
And I'm not kidding. I talk to photographers and I'll be like, "Oh, you went up to the Ralph? They don't have photo holes. I don't want to go." I swear.
Yeah.
I swear. St. Cloud is getting photo holes. I guarantee there
Yep.
will be more photography press at St.
That's
Cloud.
true. That's good. I don't really need a photo hole. A lot of you photo guys do. I don't feel like it's that
It's not
necessary.
make or
the
break.
glass is clean.
It's not make or break for me.
I mean, we're getting kind of into photography
Yeah, we
hole
are,
here, but there's certain glass that it does distort,
Especially
the
the nicer rinks.
yes,
for
where
sure.
it's the flexible glass,
Yeah.
kind of the nicer rinks that needs photo holes. So the Ralph is a great example. It has that super nice flexible glass and no photo holes. That's a
That's
bummer.
hard.
That's a bummer.
That what we're really telling you in this photo speak, when you're behind that glass, you can only shoot directly 90 degrees straight ahead.
right on it.
The minute your lens has to move a degree to the left or right, now your photo gets distorted.
Funny enough, I was struggling one time, and the rink guy was like, "Yeah," he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that," and he's like, "I wouldn't have ordered it if I knew that." And I guess the construction is it's too thin pieces.
It's two, yeah, it's a
and
two ply.
there's a plexi kind of
Yeah.
material in between that is a liquid form,
Yep.
so it distorts the image.
Trust me.
So Yeah,
the minute my
you know.
camera turns,
You
I
know.
know it's not going to be
But
good.
Mankato, that's another place doesn't have photo holes. So
No, I
And
was just there.
the
I
only
shot,
member.
and I felt like I got some really good shots there. So I really, because the lighting was different than the previous time I was there. I felt like I survived at Mankato. I got low, I got high, I got
mean-
everything. I did okay. I never. I put it this way, I didn't leave with a complaint. I shot at St. Luke's at Proctor. That was horrible.
yeah, well,
Because the glass is so high, there was no way to really get good access to any shooting. Where at least there's a media area at Mariucci and Ritter. There's a
those
media
are both
area.
great. So is
You know,
St.
I can
Thomas.
get media, right? I can get my own access to space.
Mhm.
Well, you're at a section final for a high school game. You can't get to the glass even.
Yeah, it's different.
That was
Yeah.
like, how can I even shoot anything here? You know?
Just for the one rink guy working, if you are like, I know Rempel basically begged to get their photo holes. So
Yeah, Eric, right? Is it Eric?
Brad.
Brad, yeah, he's such a good photographer.
oh yeah.
All right,
Anyways, back,
let's move
back
on to
track.
hockey.
Okay. So ECAC teams that are in the tournament: Quinnipiac, Cornell, and Dartmouth.
No surprise
Atla-
there.
No, Atlantic Hockey, they'd only get one auto bid.
And they
Bentley
won in
beat Sacred Heart
overtime.
3-2. Andy Jones back to the tourney. Tony, your best friend.
We
back
texted
to-
this week.
No big deal.
Not a big deal. We texted
Oh.
this week.
Sydney, did you hear that with YHH employees, all of our full-time employees got a homework assignment
Homework assignment.
He's talking.
inspired by said Bentley coach?
Yeah. So
Really?
when I was there, and it's a good story.
It
I
is a
mean,
good story.
So the best part of it is like we do a camp. Actually, it's going to be in Rhode Island
Yeah.
this year because the World Cup. But we normally do it in Boston for girls, and the hotel I was staying at was with the next town over from where we were doing it. It was in Waltham, Massachusetts. I'm like, this is where Bentley is. I'm going to look them up. And long story short, I finally get connected with them, and we spent a couple hours together, basically almost on a day's notice or 2 days' notice.
Yep.
And I'll just say this: the first hour was a little chilly. Andy's not the most gregarious, outgoing, slapping backs. He's not, he's not Brett Larson.
Yeah.
He's not,
You just
hey,
met
good
him.
to see you. And I want to show you around. Like, he was a little like, and then after an hour, he warmed up. And after 2 hours, he really started to warm up. We
Yeah.
did a podcast, did kind of a history of his life. And he showed me all around, told how they raised the money. And I had been there earlier the evening before and walked the campus. And so I was really, I knew who he was, and I knew a lot about the school and the rink. And after the third hour, he was smiling and he was happy. And he comes up to me right then and he goes, hey, I want to give you this. I think you'd like this. It was a book by John Gordon called The Carpenter. And I read the book on the plane on the way home. It was really good. And it was a connection that he and I began because of the book that he gave me. And I gave him my thoughts on the book, and he gave me his thoughts on the book. And we just become pen pals. And he was coach of the year this year, so I sent him a tweet, congrats on this. And he goes, yeah, great team, great staff. Usually gets, I get awards for something that everyone else does all the work for. So he's a humble guy and a really good dude. And his story's really fun to learn. This wasn't what his dream job was. He wanted to be a teacher and a
Interesting.
high school coach, and it just kind of turned into something. He got a job at Target. He worked here in the Twin Cities.
Oh, really? Target corporate.
And he wanted to get into scouting or coaching of some sort while he was working corporate. And he got lured into the USHL. And he just got lured into the whole thing and then ended up being an assistant coach for a long time at UMass Lowell. And then the
Cool.
Bentley job came available. His wife's from the East Coast. He's from Minnetonka, but went to school on the East Coast. I think he went to, I always get it confused. Either he went to Williams or Amherst, one of the two. He played D3 baseball and hockey there.
Wow.
Good dude. Really down to earth guy. I really like Andy, and I'm excited that they're in the tournament. And I will be openly cheering for the Falcons as they take on the hated Michigan Wolverines. And they play in Albany, correct?
Let me
Yeah, it's
scroll on
Albany.
my
He's from
thing.
he went to
Bentley, yeah.
Amherst.
Amherst.
Albany.
It was one of those two, yeah.
Yep.
So you went to Amherst College,
Class of 2000.
and
So what is this homework assignment, Tony?
they have to read the book.
Oh, they have to read it. Okay.
Well, in
Gotcha.
the book,
It's like
you guys
100
have your own book
pages.
club.
yeah, it's a very small book, but
You
What's
guys have
that?
a book club, YHH book club.
It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, maybe if this one goes well. The theory on the book is how do you? It's a little bit about business. So how do you carry yourself as a business? You know,
Yeah.
you got to love your job. You want to serve everybody in your business, and you got to show some care. And then that's kind of the
Yeah.
theme of the book, and it's pretty good. It's short, sweet.
it's called
That's
The
good.
Carpenter for all of our
Carpenter.
book readers. If
YHH book club.
you want to join
Yep.
along, we'll talk
Yeah.
about it in a couple weeks.
Yeah. All right. Let's knock out these regionals now. Are we ready to do that?
All right. Bentley beat Sacred Heart 3-2. Andy Jones back to the tourney and Atlantic Coach of the Year. They were down 2-1 after 2, but then the same guy, Kellen Yarderson, scored back-to-back goals. So shout out him. NCHC Frozen Face-Off. Denver wins the auto bid. They didn't need it though. This is the game that was honestly the most. It was very entertaining, but it was the most boring in terms of it didn't change anything really in the NPI very much. Like
I
no
went to
teams were
dinner.
banking on the
Didn't care.
NCHC.
I only
Yeah.
cared about the NPI games. I did.
So
Any
I
of the
actually
automatic
went to
games, I'm like, who cares? Right? Who
Yeah.
cares?
But it ended up being a good game. Denver won 4-3 in overtime at home. Pioneers actually had a 3-goal lead in the first period, but Max Plant scores. Then UMD gets back-to-back power play goals. And again, we talk about they seem to do well when they get some depth scoring. They get goals from Graydon Seepman and Hunter Anderson. They tied up, but Christian Epperson overtime game-winning goal for the Pios. Freshman goalie Johnny Hicks, 41 saves.
He's
the
unbelievable.
MVP.
Wow.
12-1 now. As
Yes.
the freshman, you just got to roll with him. But Tony, he could have been a Tennessee State legend this year.
I know.
Like, I am just like,
He would
so
have been their
sad that
goalie.
I'm just so sad that that didn't end up happening because he was originally Tennessee State and then
If
he
it
flipped to
wasn't
Denver.
if it wasn't for their jerseys were going to be
So I'm so
sick.
sad because that would have been sweet. They would have had this awesome
Their
goalie, but,
band would make Michigan Tech's
Yeah.
band look like children.
so
Their band
Max
is
Plant-
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I want that
Max
to
Plant,
happen. I really do.
Zamplant, Eric Polkamp make the all tournament team. Hicks is the MVP. And Big Ten playoffs. This also didn't have a
Nobody
ton of
cares.
Ohio State lost
Nobody
7-3
cares.
to Michigan. Not too crazy. There was
Expected.
4 power play goals in the game.
But by that time, Augustana was out, so the Ohio State result didn't really matter.
Yeah,
In a little bit, I guess.
it was 3-3 after 2 periods. So
Yeah.
Ohio State did put up a fight, but Michigan scored like 4 in the third period. TJ used 3 points, so that's kind of crazy. Before a few other notables, Tony, you want to quick talk about the USHL?
Absolutely. How about this? Ethan Wittenbach is making his triumphant return
Yeah.
for Quinnipiac to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. How's that for heartwarming? Because that's where he got noticed, and that's how the NHL found him was playing for Sioux Falls last year, and now he's playing for Quinnipiac. He's one of the nation's top scorers. He
Yep.
cut his teeth there, and he had his success there, and it's a pretty cool story that he's actually going back to the rink he played in last year to play in a regional for Quinnipiac.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think Quinnipiac is a scary team. Those teams that lose in the playoffs, that are just chomping at the bit.
I mean, you don't have to tell me as a Gopher fan.
North Dakota is chomping at the bit a little bit, like they've been off for 10 days.
Yeah.
Those teams are scary when it comes to the playoffs.
Oh,
Either
yeah.
they come out flat or they come out nasty.
They got a lot. Those are the teams that have a lot of experience too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's my take on the USHL.
Oh.
I'm super excited. I love your guys' show. I tune into your guys' show, and having such inside knowledge on your show about the USHL, having Drew on the show and having Peter's humor and having your everything in between, it's been fun to listen. You're the everything in between, you know.
I think we're doing another episode tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of good speculation on the St. Cloud job because I know Drew had some ideas
Yes.
of coaches and stuff like that. So I'm sure we'll talk about that, which will be fun. But new episode hopefully tomorrow.
And we got to
We'll
be
see.
coming up on the playoff for the USHL soon, right?
Yeah,
Like,
getting closer.
yeah, inching close. 'Cause I know the WHL is going
yeah.
into their playoffs. So,
Yeah. Couple other notables. Tony, I don't know if you saw this come out recently. There is some drama at Yale.
I did not.
Extreme drama. So there
I
was a
like
story that
drama.
came out. Longtime coach Keith Elaine, who retired there last season, wrote this letter that basically calls their athletic director. He said that he was basically the worst leader he has ever been around in his entire life.
Uh-oh.
And basically said he was
What?
writing this letter because everyone in the athletic department, I guess, is just having an extremely tough time and they all don't like her and they're having issues, but nobody wants to speak out because they're afraid of what will happen. So apparently there is really toxic stuff happening at Yale.
What I gotta
There's a
know first
whole-
is what I gotta know first is
Yeah.
does this retired hockey coach have a pension with the school, or is he on any form of payroll from the school, or is
Yeah,
he just
so
like
it just
free to
says this
be,
was
right?
you know, it's a longtime coach. This year, I believe they're
Allen?
under an interim. That's what makes this kind of dramatic is that they have an interim head coach right now. So they're kind of looking to hire a head coach. And if you go, oh, I heard they have the most toxic athletic department in the nation, that's not going to make hiring a coach very
No!
Oh my
easy.
gosh. Guess what the
Um,
the first
it
comment,
just-
sorry, the first and only
Yeah.
comment on College Hockey News is apparently Coach, how do you say it? Allen? Is it Alain?
I think it's Elaine.
Coach Alain isn't familiar with Minnesota's AD Coyle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
have the
maybe some
quote here. He
similar
said,
parallels.
Vicky Chun is the absolute worst leader I have ever been around in my life. She is dishonest, self-centered, and accessible. Vicky's singular talent is self-promotion and has created a toxic environment within the department where she is insinuated by
Some big vocabulary in this
yeah, oh
letter.
my gosh. Yale
Yale
vocabulary.
vocabulary.
Cadre, C-A-D-R-E,
Yeah.
of administrators whose main task seems to be silencing any dissent. I know the assessment seems
Oh.
harsh, and I am willing to provide detail if you are interested in learning more about the experience and how Vicky's lack of leadership affected my program.
Holy
Yikes.
smokes.
Yeah.
When did he
so-
retire?
Well, last year was his
Hashtag quit.
last season.
I'm out.
And then they've been under an interim. So they don't know if they're just gonna hire the interim, Joe Howe, or if they're gonna
Joe Howe
obviously
is
this
out
is
the
a-
door.
yeah, this is a tough look, obviously, for the university. Because if it sounds like a lot of coaches wanted him to write something, because if you're out of the university now,
Right.
I'm sure they're like, we can't say something. We're getting paid by them. We can't.
That's why I
say
keep
it.
asking about
You
his
say it."
pension. Is he getting paid by the school right
This
now?
is funny. This is kind of a good example. It says, according to a source, Chun was nearly fired shortly into her tenure at Yale after she put a message on social media saying, "Go Gate," during a Yale-Colgate hockey game.
Oh no.
Elaine later
no.
insisted Chun apologize to the team. Instead of being fired, a communications coach was hired for her.
Right. She
Okay.
must have gone to Colgate or something.
Yes. Chun was previously the athletic director at Colgate from 2012 to 18.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Not exactly a
so-
ringing endorsement.
But it says the coach also declined further comment. And it says
was
Fox
done.
News Digital.
What do you mean
is reaching out.
what do you mean he declined further comment? He invited people to
don't know.
ask him.
The
So
current
this is
coach
just
or
kind
the
of one of those
former?
stories where it's
Oh,
like
Howe said
I-
no comment, or Elaine?
yeah, where I believe Elaine did not have a further comment. So I don't know if this is one of those stories where it's like, did he also have some missteps of his own and then they just butted heads, or is it truly like everyone just
Oh, wow.
hates
So, I
this
mean,
athletic director?
He was a goalie
So-
goalie at Yale,
course
76
he
to
was.
80. He's been the head coach since 2006.
Yeah, won a national championship.
Long time coach.
Won a national championship.
Yikes.
Yale won a national championship. You know how hard that is?
Yeah. So I feel like it seems like obviously there's some issues going on in the athletic department. So I hope all the athletes at Yale don't suffer too much from
Yeah.
this because obviously
I'm sure they
They just-
teach First Amendment rights at
They gotta-
Yale
Yale,
University.
you think so? I'm sure they got that
His
down.
right to free speech, and he says, "I'm using it
He
today.
probably asked his lawyer,
Yeah.
I can say this,
I can
right?
say this, can I?
He's like,
'Cause
you're done.
Yeah.
You
You're
can do whatever
good.
you want.
I won a natty
So,
there.
we'll
I
see.
got a golden natty ring.
I'm about to
and they never take it
flamethrower this
away.
bridge. Is that all right?
I'm gonna take this bridge
Just
down.
burn it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, hey, he said, I'm done. I got my ring
I
and
got
I'm
him
out.
here.
So
Good for him.
I guess.
yeah.
I
So
think. As long
I don't
as
know,
it's
but
all
it says
true.
apparently
Yeah.
he sent the letter to the president of Yale in October, I guess, and obviously nothing's happened. So
Oh.
I
Okay.
don't know if it's that bad. I'm kind of
Wait, he
confused by
sent
when
this in October and he was ignored?
it says they sent this to the president of Yale in
Holy
October.
smokes.
And Yale won
So
what, 8
I don't
games this year?
know if they just ignored it. Because I feel like if you had a very controversial AD, it'd be pretty easy to just get a different AD. But
So former
Yeah.
assistant Joe Howe
Is now the interim.
Yep. They went 8-22-1 this year.
Yeah. That's not
So
an easy. That's a
obviously
hard
I,
league.
That sounds like
It's a hard
15
league.
guys are about to hit the portal.
yeah.
that?
So I hope for
That's a big portal rush if I've ever seen one coming.
You're not leaving
don't-
Yale?
yeah, it's a hard
Hey,
degree to pass off.
I'm at Yale. I'm 2 years in. And I'm 2
Yeah.
years from a Yale degree. I'm good. I'll be fine.
I don't
And
even
we're
play
gonna get a
hockey.
new coach. I don't care
Yeah.
about the AD.
Maybe we
Yeah,
gotta
maybe
text
they get bad snacks or something, but they're not
Maybe
not
we
enough to
gotta-
leave.
Tony, you got to text our Minnesotan Jack Stark on Yale
He's the
maybe
o-
and see if he's
I
got
coached
any
Jack
inside
Stark.
info. Yeah, see if he's got any the
Unbelievable
inside,
goalie.
see if he's got the inside scoop on the drama at Yale or
Wow.
something. I don't
It's
know.
very rare to see a former coach just kind of let it all out,
Just-
though.
Bomb.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
So-
Firebomb?
Flamethrower.
Flamethrower. There
yeah.
was some flamethrowers
I
there.
don't know.
He's
Holy
breathing
smokes.
fire almost.
All right, what
So-
else? What else you got?
Clearly something else. I don't need to spend much time on this, but Hobie Baker top 10 finalists are announced. Nothing too crazy.
Can you read them
Uh,
off really quick, and I'll say yay or nay,
Yes.
whether I
yes.
feel like they're deserving.
Sure. Why don't you say yay or nay if you think that they're deserving of top 3?
Oh, there you go. Good. Ooh, I might
Trey
lose some friends here.
Augustine,
Nay.
James Higgins,
Nay.
Max Plant,
Yay.
Eric Polkamp.
Nay.
Okay. Charlie Stramel,
Yay.
Nay.
TJ Hughes,
Yay.
Yay.
Gavin McKenna,
Nay.
Hayden Stavroff,
Nay.
Felix Trudeau,
Nay.
and Ethan Wittenbach.
Yay.
Yay.
So-
it should be Wittenbach, and it won't be Wittenbach, Plant, and who was my other yay?
McKenna or
No.
Hughes or
Hughes.
Hughes.
And I think Wittenbach
I
should win it,
still
but I don't think he will.
Wittenbach should win it, but I don't
He's not
know
gonna
if
win it.
Quinnipiac will get enough. I don't know who's all voting
He's
this
not,
year.
he's
That's
not-
the
he
big
won't
thing
win
is-
it. It's gonna be. I think
don't know.
Stramel could get in there. Stramel, excuse me.
There's got to be
I,
somebody from
I
the
think
Michigan
Eric
sphere.
Polkamp could win it this year. If they just want to go with a D, I think he could slip in there. I really do.
I'm not against that. I'm not
If
against
Denver
that.
gets hot this week, I think there could be guys going, I don't really
When
want to
does
pick
when does the
Wittenbach
actual
and Plant.
vote
I'll
get?
pick Eric
When do you
Polkamp."
pull the trigger on the vote?
I don't know. I haven't been a part of the
Yeah.
Hobie committee, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
If Jess
I
was on the
think-
call, I'm sure he'd know. I think he's been on it, so I don't know.
I
So
think
that's
there will be
interesting.
at least one Minnesotan.
Richter Award finalists. It is Trey Augustine, Michael Rabel, and Josh Kotai. I think Josh Kotai deserves it this year, but I feel like it's gonna be Trey Augustine.
Probably. You're probably not wrong.
I think he deserves it. Yes.
But that's a good group of goalies.
There's-
And then
Who was the other? Was it Tracy the third?
Michael Hrabel of UMass had really good stats, but kind of went
Was he
under
top
the
3?
radar. What?
Who were the top 3 for the
Yeah,
Richter?
Hrabel, Kotai, and Augustine.
No Tracy.
No Tracy.
Robbery.
They picked Kotai
Yeah,
over Tracy.
holy.
And where's Robble from?
Hrabel, I believe, is Czech.
No, I know, but what team did he play for?
UMass.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. Is
He
he
just
a
signed
big guy?
with them. Yes.
Huge.
Yes.
Yes, I saw him play in Vegas.
6'7",
Yes,
260
he's good.
pounds.
He's good.
Signed, had a 9.37 and
Yep.
1.95 this year for
He's good.
UMass, who did
He's
not
good.
make the tournament.
Yep.
A
How do I
couple
remember
early
that? It's kinda
departures.
like you remember in the
and-
Minnesota State,
Versus
Yeah.
Western Michigan. Like,
I just
whoa.
remember just
Yeah.
feeling just so gutted for Alex Tracy.
Yeah, I
after
know.
that.
I felt bad for that kid.
Oh,
Um,
he's
So
back
good.
though. They're good. They're good.
early departures and pro signings or guys that are returning. I'll just run through this list. If you have notes, feel free to throw them out, but not really any Minnesotans on here. Josh Kotai signs as a free agent with the Islanders organization after his junior season. That'll be a loss for Augustana, but first
Giant
NHL
loss.
deal for a Viking player, so that's
Yep.
cool. Michael Rabel just signed his deal with Utah after his junior season at UMass. We just talked about him. James Higgins signs with Boston, currently playing with the AHL Providence team. more BC losses. Drew Fortescue and Aaron Minetian both signed their contracts. They're from BC as well, so BC losing quite a bit. It sounds like Dean Letourneau is going to return though for his junior year, which I
Big
think
dog.
is smart. Albin Boya, apparently the big goalie for Maine, it sounds like is going to be returning as well, so that'd be big for them. Dylan Rikoian signs with the Texas AHL team after his junior year at Northeastern. He was their leading scorer, so that's obviously tough for them. Junior Cole Knuble of Notre Dame signs with the Philly organization. It sounds like Danny Nelson's coming back, obviously, to play with his two brothers, so
Yeah.
that'll be super cool. Cole Hudson, Gavin McCarthy, and Cole Iserman from BU all signed, so BU and BC both losing a chunk.
So
And
did you see he did not sign? I think it was it Hagens?
Hagens,
Did not
don't
sign.
read into that. I think you're reading.
Don't read
into
into
too
that.
Are they just
much.
not burning
Don't read
his
into
year?
that too much.
Are they
Don't
just
read
not
into-
burning his year one?
I
at the
don't-
I think
ELC?
it's this
I don't
year
think they're
one
going
thing.
to unless he's so good that they need to. But I won't get too into
He's
that.
not coming back to BC. Is that the
No,
question?
no. I'm just curious.
No, it's an
why.
ELC
I know that was
thing.
speculated too.
Yeah, he signed like a
Um,
tryout in the AHL.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
what?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, okay, that's all I
Yeah.
wanted to
Mike
bring.
McMahon. Mike
Um,
McMahon's his name. He
Yeah.
went off on it. There's no way he's coming back.
Yeah, that'd
There's
be
a chance
silly.
though. There is a small
No, and I
chance he
mean,
could come back.
Boston's holding on to it. They get, I think, the first wild card spot. So I mean,
No, but the thing is, if he doesn't accept pay for these games,
yeah,
and they just pay for his expenses like
Yeah.
a college kid,
he could.
he
go
could
back.
go back to BC. But come on,
Yeah.
That
And then
seems
the
a little
last one I
weird.
had here, Felix Trudeau signed a pro deal
that's the
with the
kid from
Blues
Sacred Heart, right?
organization. Yeah, I just wanted to shout him out.
He was
'cause
a
had
player of the
two-
year in the AHA.
He had two very mediocre years at Maine, like sub 10 points, and then just transferred to Sacred Heart and had 48 points this year as a senior. So just thought that was a kind of a cool story of the portal actually working
Yeah,
Yeah.
in favor
absolutely.
of somebody. Clearly wasn't getting a ton of playing time at Maine, transferred to Sacred Heart and just had an insane time. So that's kind of cool. And before we get into just the bracket, shout out APX, the other sponsor of the show. We have a bunch of guys competing at USA Hockey Nationals this week.
14 of them, right? Was that what it said?
14 advising guys, and I know there's some crossover, but we have a couple of our APX invite guys as well. So I think altogether it's over 20, but that'll be cool. And I know we had some girls too the past couple weeks, so that's awesome. And if you're looking for any awesome advisors or training and development, obviously go to apx-hockey.com. A few select spots open, and obviously we're always looking for guys to join our awesome team of advisors. They're all great people doing great stuff for you. They're not the advisors that are just going to sit back and not do anything for you. So we got guys that are working hard, working their butts off for their guys and their clients, which is awesome. And yeah, got some cool content coming over the next few weeks. I talked with Brock Cheslock last week, caught up with him. I talked to Parker Duchesne this week. He's been playing on a bunch of different junior teams, so talked to him
Yeah.
about it. And
Rogers.
I think I'm talking to Keegan Davis tonight from Benil,
Really?
so that'll be kind of cool. Catch up
I-
with him a little bit.
Is Duchesne in the WHL?
No.
Duchesne is in the BC right now. He's in
BCHL.
Salmon Arm. Salmon
Okay.
Arm.
Salmon
Yeah.
Arm. They have some great names of cities
do.
and teams
They
up
do.
there,
Yeah.
like Trail Smoke Eaters. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
best name.
I've heard Salmon Arm's
ever.
super pretty. Like, there's just mountains, so it's like, do you want to play your junior hockey in like a beautiful place in
Kelowna.
BC?
You ever been to Kelowna, BC? Is
Yeah,
when you hear Kelowna and Penticton, those
Yeah.
children are being taken care of by the Lord. I mean, that it is so gorgeous
Yeah.
up there. It's unbelievable.
yeah.
They're,
So, a
they're
bunch of
living
great
right.
stuff.
They're definitely living right in
Like,
those
I was-
towns.
When I was in War Out, I was talking to Mooney Shagabe about his next spot.
Yeah, where's he going?
He mentioned Watertown,
Yep, in the Null.
and then he mentioned I think the Wild in the is it
Wenatchee
Wenatchee
Wild. That's in the WHL.
And isn't that a very beautiful spot as well?
I don't know where Wenatchee is at all. I have no idea.
It's funny enough. Ben List that's kind of he took over. He's like, oh, that's beautiful. I'm pretty sure. I mean, you got to take a ferry to get there.
Is it really?
And I was just
don't
like,
know.
oh wow. So,
Okay.
Everett, yes. I don't know
So-
about Wenatchee.
so
I have
but
no idea.
It was just kind of a funny moment where he was like, yeah, I would love to, go up in Canada.
Imagine Ben taking over a conversation.
Oh,
like,
no, what? No,
Shocking.
no way. But
he did nice work with us yesterday.
He did.
for the
he does very good work.
for the
Yeah.
press conference.
I mean, you want to talk about like cool, long hockey journeys. Lucas Wallen.
It's unbelievable.
Hockey will take you anywhere.
Yeah,
and
I didn't
everywhere.
even add that because that was just today. So shout out as well, Lucas
Did he sign a
Wallen.
contract?
Sure did.
Signed with Winnipeg.
Jette
Shout
Jets,
out.
Jets, Jets.
Really?
NA3HL to NAHL to USHL to St. Thomas to pro hockey. So that's awesome.
So funny. People in the
Um,
comments are like, "Who's this guy?" And I'm just like, "You just wait, just wait."
Yeah.
He's good. He's
Just wait.
succeeded
awesome.
everywhere he goes.
Yep.
Um,
get him in
Yeah,
front
what
of
a
the
great,
net.
what an awesome story too. Like
Yeah.
you just ripped them all off the NA3 to the NHL. That's
yeah, he's been like a
fantastic.
full NA3 year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I saw him play the Magicians for Kenai, and I remember specifically seeing Nick Oliver there, who was an assistant for Brett at St. Cloud State. And I go, I know why you're here. There's only one guy you'd want to see here. And he's
Yeah.
like, you got it. It was Lucas Wallen. So
Yeah. And then one other thing I just wanted to say, the transfer portals are up on APX now. So if you're a transfer portal crazed person like me, the women's portal is popping off this week. The men's one doesn't open officially till after the national championship game. So there's only like 5-6 guys right now. Otherwise, there will be more.
wait a second.
soon.
What did you just say there? I want to go back to that sentence. Rewind that sentence. If you're a transfer portal person like
Crazed person.
like me, there's only
Yeah.
one transfer portal crazed person, and that
That's
is
not
you.
true. There's a lot of people
Well,
out there
there,
that
there are
just
people that
sitting on my
crazed.
spreadsheet all day.
They're crazed, but they hang out on your spreadsheet.
I color coded my spreadsheet this year, so it looks a little nicer.
Do you know what makes me special, Ryan?
Yeah. What's
You know what
that?
makes me special?
A few things.
No, the most special is
Most
when a
special?
Minnesota kid goes in the portal.
Yeah.
Guess who reports it to me?
Sydney.
That gal from APX
Well,
Hockey.
I don't
there.
know if
My
you're,
partner in crime sends me updates, and I
Yeah.
am so excited when I get a text from her. I'm like, oh, it's a portal. It's a portal. Oh,
Yeah.
Ilsa Lindemann, whatever. Just, I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you for
Nothing
doing
too
that.
crazy
I love
yet,
that.
but the women's portal's popping off this week. So if you like the women's side of stuff, go
Well,
check
yeah,
it out.
because their
Thunder
tournament just ended, so now they're
Yeah.
they're in.
starting.
Something's gonna happen. I was at APX yesterday, Sydney, and
Yeah.
something's gonna happen on April 19th. There's like some big news coming out on the 19th. We're gonna be sharing something on the 19th. Can you give
Ooh.
me a clue what that is?
I honestly don't
You
know.
worked there. Come on. What's
I don't
going
know.
on?
You
I
don't give
honestly
me any.
don't.
You give me nothing whenever there's news.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of do my own thing. I
They
don't
haven't
know.
even told you, huh?
I don't even know what's on April.
Whatever it is, keep an eye on YHH channels on April 19th.
It
We're
must
gonna
be
have
under
some
some
big
heavy
news.
rap, Tony, because I don't know.
I have no idea.
The team I was thinking about, by the way, was the Victoria Grizzlies.
That is definitely
Okay.
on
That
that's
would-
on the
that
island.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
So kind of just back to quickly, we've been going a long time, so I won't go through all this. Final NPI, you can go look it up if you want to. We went through all of this. One notable, first time since 1981, there will be no Beanpot schools at the tourney. I'm sure
love that.
Gucci
Whoa.
and the other East Coast people are crying tears
No.
because of that. The selection show, a lot of criticism.
Hang
I
on.
don't know if you guys
No-
watched it. It was the
there's some-
Gavin McKenna special.
Yeah, let me go back one second. Having no Beanpot schools in is the equivalent to the high school hockey tournament, not having Cretan, St. Thomas, or
Yeah,
Hill Murray in the
Hill,
tournament, right?
yeah.
It's just like, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Just feels good.
It feels good for
Life
us
feels good
Minnesotans,
for a little
yeah.
bit, doesn't it?
Feels good.
Well, yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I think that's one of the best things about basketball NCAA is how big the tournament is and the amount of teams that every year you're like, where?
Not this Sweet 16.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, this year.
I mean, like, wow, we're cheering for Nebraska.
no, I mean, but just there's a lot of teams out there that you just
Normally there are, but
Yeah.
this year
Yeah.
there were really no
No.
major upsets. Continue
Yeah.
on, Sydney.
Yeah, selection show, just wanted to say everybody kind of thought it was a mess because they kind of just talked about Gavin McKenna and they didn't really
Oh
talk
my
about
gosh.
a whole lot of notable anything. They didn't really talk to any like other coaches or other people. Like I know they just kind of focus on the biggest thing, but like, okay. It
This
just
was
could, it just
ESPN,
leaves
right?
yeah,
Well-
it leaves a lot to be desired. It really
I
does.
mean, they
So,
called the Mavericks the Broncos, so Yeah.
right?
I remember the
And-
one year too, Bemidji State was in it a couple years ago, and that was like misspelled and just it's a hot
Probably
mess.
called them the Gophers.
Yep.
No.
I just know this. Whenever I have to watch national mainstream media cover college hockey, it's the similar of watching Channel 45 cover high school hockey. They're just making it up on the fly.
Yep.
They're just let's just make this up on the fly, and we'll throw some people out there who sort of know what they're talking about, and the real
They
people
watch
who really
like
know
that-
what they're talking about.
That section
aren't there.
goal, that section fluke goal that made the top 10 Sports Center. It was like Wayzata versus Edna.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah.
In the top 10.
Bode McConnell.
Yeah, Bode McConnell.
Did they really say Bode?
I butchered everything. Yeah. It's just like,
Yeah.
Oh,
all
God.
right.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so it was
Thanks.
it just leaves a lot to be desired, but the bracket, and then we can talk about game times. You can make some picks if you want. Worcester, Massachusetts. Michigan State plays UConn Thursday at 12:30 Central Time on ESPN2.
That's
Dartmouth
lunchtime
plays-
tomorrow.
Yes, Dartmouth plays Wisconsin at 4 Central Time on ESPNU. Any thoughts on the Worcester bracket? Michigan State, are they coming out on top
Yes.
here, or question?
Without a doubt.
Is this the
Without a doubt.
weakest? Is this the weakest?
This is
of
the
four?
weakest one.
I would have to
Yeah,
agree.
I mean, if you're a Dartmouth fan, this would be their time to prove everybody wrong, but it's gonna be tough. They get
Yeah.
Wisconsin and then
then
Michigan
Michigan
State.
State.
maybe UConn.
If I'm
Yeah.
Dartmouth, I don't think I'm too bummed with facing Wisconsin first.
No.
Yeah, Wisconsin almost missed the tournament.
Yeah,
So
I mean, especially I would say Wisconsin. The majority of the reason Wisconsin's here is what they did in the first half of the season.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Yep.
never know.
So that'll be interesting, but obviously Michigan State, the heavy favorite there.
Yep.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota, also Thursday. North Dakota plays Merrimack Thursday at 7:30 Central Time on ESPN2. I saw that Schloss tweeted Ollie Josephson questionable for the regionals, so that would be a piece out for them possibly. And Providence plays Quinnipiac, which I think that could be a fun game actually, and that's the 4 o'clock game. So North Dakota has the late game.
Yeah, shocker. How about that stat? The Quinnipiac and Providence are 112 miles, 126 miles apart, something like that.
Pretty
couple hours
close.
apart.
Yeah, pretty close.
And they're
Yeah.
traveling over 1,100 miles to get to Sioux
Yeah.
Falls. I mean, they
Yeah,
could have
and
fixed it.
Merrimack
This
too
is my biggest
Massachusetts,
complaint.
yeah.
Can you explain this to me? Because you watch the selection show. You know the 1 through 15, 1 through 16s. We knew who the 1 is and we knew the 16 was, but everything in between is a little bit whatever. Explain to me why UMD isn't playing. Is it because they're in the same conference as UND?
I don't even know half the reasoning that goes on behind this, but it is a
Are
little
there
weird
more
when
than
you
4
all-
teams from the NCHC? Western?
UMD, there's 4.
Just 4, right?
4, yeah.
Okay. So are they all separate?
No, Denver is in Westerns, which is rough.
Rough. That's really
Yeah.
rough. Okay. So
Yeah.
then the reason they put UMD outside of UND is if not, they would have been weighted. The West would have been way too far weighted. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
I just don't know
mean,
why they
that-
weren't. It just feels like they would be in either
Yeah.
Mankato or UMD should have been in Sioux Falls. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think everybody sort of was hoping for that,
Yeah,
especially
reminds me of
from our standpoint, we were hoping for that. Absolutely.
As a fan,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
fan, one of those two should have been
From an
in
attendance standpoint,
attendance
I would think.
standpoint.
Yeah,
you
I
know-
mean, it's pretty much going to be exclusively North Dakota fans, which it would be a
Yeah.
lot of them anyway, wherever
Yeah.
they go.
The
but
best
all
game-
3 of
yeah.
those schools are coming from the East Coast. Merrimack is also in Mass, so
Quinnipiac
like
versus Providence is going to be a great game at 4 o'clock, and there's going to be
nobody there.
Nobody
Yeah.
there.
nobody there.
Yeah.
So,
And I feel like obviously I know I've been saying this for a while now. North Dakota's my pick, so I'm not going against that. But I don't know. I don't feel like this regional. I don't know. Quinnipiac and Providence, I think will be a fun game, but I don't know how I feel about that versus North Dakota after that. I feel like I'm running with Nodak, so I don't know. And then Albany is Friday. Michigan plays Bentley. Minnesota State plays Penn State. Those games are at 4:30 and 8 p.m. on ESPNU and ESPN2. Michigan Bentley, obviously, we'd love to see Andy Jones get a big win, but that's a tough matchup. And UMD Penn State, I think, could be kind of a fun game.
That'd be a great hockey game. That's the best game of the day, isn't
I
it?
think that'll be cool.
That's
I
not,
think I
that's the
pick-
best first round matchup, isn't it?
I think I'm picking the Bulldogs for that one. I think they'll win that game and lose the second. I'd love to see them make the Frozen Four, but I don't know.
I want an in-state team to make the Frozen Four.
Well, I do too, but I think it'd be awesome, and I'm also just cheering because it would be awesome for whoever's announcing this game if they're just talking about Gavin McKenna the whole time for you.
And they get dunked on.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
beat them.
that's
That'd be
another
sweet.
reason to cheer for it.
So
And
that'd
I'm
be
not
kinda
cheering
cool.
against Gavin McKenna, and I'm not cheering
No, I'm
against
not
the
either, but
WHL or
there's so
CHL.
much.
I'm
Every
cheering against
year
the fact that
the
they just overhype these kids.
Yeah. Every year in the regionals, a lot of the announcers a lot of times only focus on the
NHL
absolute
types.
star household names and any other like they're not gonna know Bentley, they're not gonna know, a lot of that.
Who's
And I
this
think
Ethan kid? Wow, he's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Whitenbach is really doing
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, like I think Loveland, Colorado, I think it's Bucci announcing that, and that's the teams. I'll read you the teams there. Western Michigan, Minnesota State, Denver, and Cornell.
That's gonna be really good.
He's not gonna know any of those guys.
No.
Because he's a big Hockey East guy.
Yeah.
So that's the tough one, and those games are at 1:30 and 5 on ESPNU and ESPN Plus in Loveland, Colorado. Western Michigan, Minnesota State, like you said, Ryan, that'll be a good rematch. And Denver, Cornell, obviously bummed to have both Denver and Western in the same regional, but that would be a great final if/when that happens.
Western
No
Denver
shade
will
to
be
the
a great
Mavs, but Western Denver would be probably really
Western
good.
Denver will be a great final, I think. I also
Yeah.
think Michigan UMD would be the game of the year
Yeah.
for me.
Well, it could also be
Yeah.
maybe they were afraid of putting NCHC teams in all 4 different regionals because you could have had an all NCHC Frozen
I would love that, and it's definitely possible.
No, I'd love that, but maybe they didn't do that because
So does that
would
one? Does
that would
the
have been a very
Western
real possibility
does the Western Michigan Denver game amount to be a 4-5?
for their game,
Yeah.
like in the NPI.
Yeah,
That'd
you know,
be
like
4-5,
whatever. Yeah, the
yeah.
4-5,
Yeah.
right? Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
brutal.
that's
I
tough.
feel like in 22 it was Minnesota and Western Michigan 4-5 out east when they played.
Yeah, so that'd
That
be
was a
that's
brutal
that's a tough
matchup.
one. But yeah, I don't know. Do any of you have any hot takes or anything? Obviously, I'm still
Just
rolling
that
with my North
there's not a
Dakota pick.
Minnesota team in South Dakota was kind of a bummer when there was 2
Yeah.
bona fide teams that
I'm
would
gonna
have
pick.
traveled
Obviously,
well.
I'm gonna pick Nodak, but any of the other 3 would be very fun. I'll say, but Nodak is
Providence and
I think you could make a case for all.
Providence, Quinnipiac, who's the
Merrimack.
and Merrimack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think any of those
I
teams.
love an underdog story, but I don't
That'd be
think
great.
Merrimack's.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't. It would be fun, but then it would be a bummer to not have Nodak in Vegas. So
Yeah, and I
I'll
feel
say
bad
this.
for Minnesota State because we've talked about, they got Alex Tracy, but they'd have to beat Western and then Denver to get to the Frozen Four. That is just a rough bracket to be in. So
If they do that, they can win the national championship.
No, for sure, but that's just an insane gauntlet to have. That'd be harder than the Frozen Four.
Yeah, there was
To beat
some
both of those
lady.
teams.
There's some lady, the Syracuse women's coach, on social media this week whining about having to play UConn.
I saw
I
that.
can't
She's
believe
like,
that.
she's
It's
like-
not fair. Every year we got to play
she's like,
UConn. I'm
yeah,
like,
I'm
okay,
like,
well then
okay,
fine.
well-
Do you want to play UCLA? Do you want to
yeah,
play South
right,
Carolina?
Like,
Like,
what
it's-
buzzsaw do you want to run
but
into?
yeah, just pick your buzzsaw.
I've
Like,
always. I mean,
like
you got to beat the best to
you
be the
have
best.
to, in order to be the best. What do you want? Play 16 seeds or play 4
Yeah.
seeds? No, you're gonna have to go through a gauntlet of some sort eventually. So especially if you're not a 1 seed, right? Be
I
a 1
agree.
seed. That'd be like, hey, be a 1 seed. In hockey, be
Yeah.
a 1 seed. You know,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah, so
hard.
that-
It's hard. Like the bet. I my good friend Andy Jones. He and I talk about scheduling.
yeah.
It's what we tweet. That's what we text about most is scheduling. And he finally got a 2-pack at UND. He goes, it took me like 5 years to get a game at UND, to get 2 games at UND. They want as many hard games as they can get their hands on because it helps their MPI the entire year. So the more good games they can get, the better. But he goes, no Minnesota teams will play us. I want to come home and play in my home state, and not one team will take a game from us.
Interesting.
We're too good.
Mm,
No, that's
that's. Oh, you're saying that's what he says.
well, yeah. they'll play.
The risk versus
They'll play
reward.
RIT.
The risk versus reward. Is,
Yeah,
is not,
we'll play RIT.
Yeah, the
but
draw-
now we're good enough where they don't want to play.
I
us.
see what you mean. Yep.
He doesn't mean they're too good that they're going to beat them, but the risk of losing to
Yep.
a 26, they're pretty much a guarantee between the max height they can get is 18, and they're between 18 and 28. They don't lose to 18 and 28. It'll hurt their NPI. So
I see what
it's
you
an
mean.
interesting conversation about scheduling with him. An insight that I don't get from most head coaches. It's cool to hear.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that is the bracket. I don't think I have really any other news and notes, and obviously, that is, I think, pretty much
Let's-
everything.
Let's pick who would your pick be if it's not you can't pick a one. Okay.
I
gotta
can't
pick
pick
one.
one to win it all,
Is
or
Western Michigan or Denver number one in that
Western is the one.
is one? So I'll pick Denver. Anyone gonna
I'm going to take Michigan
Are we
State.
going bracket by
I mean,
bracket
Minnesota
or
State,
bracket by
sorry.
bracket? You can't pick a one. You can't go chalk. So you got to pick a 2, 3, or 4. I'm
okay.
going Merrimack in that.
I think Minnesota State.
You go Minnesota State.
I'll take Minnesota. I mean, I was going to pick them anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm not going one, I'm picking Denver in Colorado, which is very possible. In
Yep.
Albany, Dogs.
Dogs all day, for sure. I'm with you on that. Dogs all day.
Sioux Falls.
This is if you can't pick.
You can't pick a one. I mean, it's a boring show if you just pick the one.
Well, my 4 would be obviously Michigan State, North Dakota,
right. You just chalk.
No, Minnesota State and Minnesota Duluth. That's what I
Ooh.
truly believe
I'd
that. I
say-
truly believe.
You want to go to Vegas, don't you?
Hell yeah, I want to go to Vegas.
That's how we go to Vegas.
I
If
know.
we have Minnesotans in the tournament, we get to
Yeah,
go.
I know.
We don't have Minnesotans, we
Yeah.
stay home.
I know.
We didn't go as YHH when it was here. Like, are you going? I'm like,
Yeah.
there's 11 Minnesotans in the tournament. That's
Yeah.
lame. When I went in 2022, there was like 37. Think about that.
Yeah.
There were
Sioux
37.
Falls, I'd say if I have to pick a not one in Sioux Falls that's not Nodak, I'd say Quinnipiac. I'll go Bobcats.
I'm going Merrimack.
Why?
They're on fire.
Uh,
Okay.
versus who
and
though?
then,
Versus who?
They're like, what are they like? 10-0-1 in their last 11 games.
Okay.
Versus who?
It doesn't matter. They're hot.
Okay. And
hot.
Worcester, just for fun, I'll say Wisconsin, but that's not happening.
No chance.
No, I know that, but I'll just say Wisconsin.
Okay. That's Worcester. What are my other choices?
I'm writing these down.
Dartmouth.
So what are your real? These are real picks.
UConn.
No.
We're gonna hold you to these.
What's my other choice? Michigan State's playing who?
Dartmouth or UConn.
No, God, no. I'm gonna take a no vote on my 2, 3, 4.
No vote.
Michigan
Okay.
State's just loaded. There's no way they're not coming out of there.
All right. Well, I think
I'll
that's
go
pretty
Michigan
much all I
State.
got.
UMD. For my real picks, I go Michigan State, UMD, Denver, and North Dakota. I can't even say that word with wearing a Gopher shirt on right now.
One more time. Michigan State.
Michigan State, UMD,
Oh, I like the UMD pick.
Michigan State, UMD, Denver, and North Dakota.
Last
I
one.
don't know.
I don't know.
North Dakota.
Let's go.
That's how I felt saying that earlier
no.
this year when I
I
said
got
they
it.
were my
It's
pick.
it's Michigan State,
You're taking Denver, Otto.
Michigan State. Yeah, they're gonna win at home in the altitude. Michigan State, UMD, Sydney's pick for the national championship,
Yes, there
and
you go.
Denver. That's who I'm gonna say. I'm not
All right,
gonna say
Sydney,
their name.
and
I'm
your-
not gonna say the green team's name.
Sydney-
Yeah, I'd say I think it's going to be Denver too. They're at home. So
Yeah,
Denver,
altitude.
Denver, I don't know. I might double back on what I said earlier. I'll go Denver, Dogs.
Ooh, I like the
North
dogs.
Dakota.
Are we all 3 on the dogs right now?
You pick
Michigan State.
mine.
I don't know.
She's
But
picking mine.
I also
Come on,
won't be,
pick Dartmouth. Pick Dartmouth. Pick Dartmouth. Pick Dartmouth. Pick
if
Dartmouth.
I have to switch, then I'll go Denver, Michigan, North Dakota, and
Oh my God.
wait, how did Wisconsin do against Michigan State this year?
Are they
I'm
in the same one?
Are they in the same bracket? No.
Wisconsin's in the same as.
Yes, they are. Michigan
Oh
State.
my God.
I'll go Wisconsin.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
I lost a lot of respect for you.
Last time those two teams played, Wisconsin.
Here we go.
Oh, never mind. They won earlier in the season. I was looking at the wrong
Yeah.
thing.
What did
They
we
did
say
beat
about
them-
them earlier in the show? They got in
Uh,
the tournament by their first half.
Yeah, but they have beaten Michigan State twice this year, Tony.
Okay, great.
So I'm not saying it's gonna happen. No, I pick Michigan State, but for the sake of the pod, I'll pick
All right, I
Badgers.
like it.
And
I
just
like
for the
a little bit
record,
of parody.
Do you think Mike Hastings is a good NCAA coach or a bad NCAA coach?
I don't know. That's a loaded question.
Okay.
I think
That's
think
why I
he's a good-
asked it.
I think he's a good coach.
All right, people.
Okay.
Any other hot takes? Because this is almost 2
Come
hours.
on.
I gotta
Dinner
eat.
time. Dinner time at the Terry
I
house.
gotta eat.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
What
I
are you
gotta
making for the
eat.
Terrys tonight?
I'm not. My kid ate like an hour ago.
Okay.
I don't know. We
and
eat
can
early
you
at my
even
house.
eat tonight after going to the dentist?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
have anything done. I just
Oh.
had normal dentist.
Okay, you just
Average,
your
average
teeth cleaned.
dentist. Yeah,
All right.
average. I just, they schedule you like 6 months out, so I needed to do that.
Get her in. Get her in. Okay, well, thank
I don't
you.
know. Go make a PBJ sandwich or something. I don't
There
know.
you go.
My wife's gone tonight. I'm going on a date with my daughter tonight. We're gonna eat good food tonight.
I like it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm eating whatever's left in the fridge tonight. Nothing fancy.
All right.
I like it.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan. Thanks to Jess. Thanks to you, Sydney, as well. Great show. I don't know when we reconvene. Do we reconvene right after the regional next week?
Yeah, it'll
Or do
be
we
next week or the week after.
extend it? I would say we kind of wait on the Gopher assistant coach and
And the St. Cloud stuff.
St.
probably,
Cloud
too.
stuff. If
Yeah.
there's a lot of news to report next Monday, we'll be back. If there's no news to report, we'll be back to preview the Frozen Four.
Sure. That
Love
sounds
it.
good.
Sound
love
good?
it. Yep.
For
Sweet.
APX and USHL, thanks for their sponsorship and all our great crew. We'll see you around the rink.